feel happy about this consignment of animals from South Africa.
You're worried because they're so valuable?
I think it might be a good idea to have an extra security guard on them. Look, be a good fellow and organize it for me. There's an outfit called Assignments Unlimited. Ring them at Grosvenor 5995 and make an appointment. They're in the West End, 33 Half Moon Street.
It's a sad admission to make, but I find little that's kindred in the affairs of my clients. Mervyn Levers, however, was an exception. A professor of zoology, he had a fantastic knowledge of all creatures big and small, gentle and savage, attractive and ugly. He knew their habits, whether they crawled, leapt, ran, swam, or wriggled. However, to begin at the beginning, Mervyn Levers entered my office with a simple request for an escort.
There's an International Zoological Society, of course, usually headed by someone from South Africa. They're right in front with animal conservation and have one of the world's finest zoos at Pretoria. Most of the time we try to swap animals for our various zoos, but every now and again a purchase has to be made. I hope I'm not boring you, Mr. Mason.
I've really been so absorbed in the client's conversation, Mr. Levers. But tell me, this consignment that you're expecting, are these animals swaps or are they purchases?
Both, actually. Oddly enough, we're not concerned with those we've purchased. Well, they're bought with public money, of course, and so we naturally do everything we can to ensure their well-being and safety. But the animal that comes as a gift from South Africa is far more valuable. Up to now, only the Pretoria Zoo in South Africa has had a specimen of this buck. A grey rebuck. It's indigenous to South Africa, but extremely rare. The grey rebuck has bred, and the curator of their zoo has graciously consented to let us have one. Its mate will follow in due course.
Fascinating. And you want a guard on the animals until they reach their destination. That right?
Oh, yes, please. I've been instructed by Sir Timothy Wetheram to obtain the services of your organization, if that's possible.
Oh, it is indeed. To what zoo are they consigned?
The London Zoo, until they've been quarantined. And then they're going to Whipsnade.
All right, Mr. Levers. Or should I call you Professor?
Mr. will do fine.
Well, if you'll pardon my saying so, you're a little young to be a professor.
Yes, I suppose I am, really. Perhaps that's why I prefer the Mr.
I must say I found our talk most interesting. When does the ship dock?
Millwall dock at 7 a.m. tomorrow. The animals will all be crated and ready for loading onto the lorry. I thought 2 men.
Right.
They'll have to be something of a schizophrenic. The men should be tough, as guards usually are, but at the same time, gentle with the animals.
Well, if you like, I can send 1 male and 1 female guard.
A woman guard?
Yes. Oh, don't worry, this girl is gentle as a woman is gentle, but in the event of trouble, she's a terror.
Oh, sounds remarkable. I'd like to meet her.
You will. I'll have her leave with the male operator. Cannon is his name, by the way. The girl is called Gail Hamilton.
Right. Well, look, I must be on my way. Thanks for everything, Mr. Mason.
It's been a pleasure. And that was all I ever saw of Professor Levers. The animals were loaded onto the truck, and Cannon drove out onto the road towards the London Zoo. He, Gail, and Professor Levers were all crammed into the front seat. The day was hot and sultry.
Yours must be an interesting occupation, Professor.
Yes, it is. Then so's yours. I've never met a girl guard before.
Well, she's a girl guard because she's too long in the tooth to be a girl guide.
Ignore him, Professor. He's from the Midwest in the States. They reared him on corn. Tell me something about the animals.
Yes, I will, but you must stop calling me Professor. When you say it, it makes me feel 90. Now, just call me
Hey.
What is it, Professor? Cannon?
Yeah?
Pull him to the side quickly. I think he's having a heart attack.
Okay.
Hurry now. Help me to get him onto the pavement. Throw that coat out that's hanging over the seat.
Okay. Come on. All right. Put him down on the pavement. There.
Now take a look at him.
He's dead.
Dead? But Can't you revive him?
Oh, it's hopeless. Cannon, how terrible.
But, well, what is it? Was it his heart?
Must have been. But to go so quickly, he must have been suffering from a heart condition for a long time. And yet,
Yeah?
he doesn't look like a heart case. His coloring. Look, I'll stay with him. You go and ring for an ambulance.
Okay.
Yes, look, there's a booth across the road. Hurry. We'll have a crowd of morbid spectators here in a minute.
I'm on my way.
Had an accident?
Serious one, I'm afraid. Heart attack.
Anything I can do? Hey, that's Mervyn Lavers. Good gracious.
Do you know him?
Well, of course I do. He's with me at the Zoological Gardens.
Well, that's where we were taking the animals in the truck.
Is he all right?
I'm afraid not.
He's not dead?
Yes, he is.
Mervyn. Oh. This is something of a shock to me, Miss...
Hamilton, Gail Hamilton.
Was Mervyn driving the lorry?
No, one of our men, Cannon. He's gone to phone for an ambulance.
The animals.
Well, what about them?
Well, I haven't introduced myself. Professor Mark Tobin. I'm assistant curator of the London Zoo.
Oh, I see. You're worried about the animals?
Well, it seems unimportant at the moment, I know, but one of those animals is a gift from the South African Zoological Society. It's extremely rare.
Oh, the grey rebuck.
You know about it?
Yes, Professor Lavis told me before he collapsed.
Then you know it's important that the animal is not lost.
Lost?
That it doesn't die.
Oh. Well, it looks healthy enough.
Appearances with wildlife are often deceptive, Miss Hamilton. The animal is accustomed to the warmth of Africa. If it caught a chill, it might easily die. And I think you know what that would mean.
Yes, of course. But it's not exactly a cold day, is it? I mean, it's a sticky August day.
It's not at all like Africa, Miss Hamilton. Poor Mervyn. What a ghastly trick of fate. It was his ambition to see that grey rebuck in an English zoo?
Do you really think something might happen to it?
Yes. Where's the man you spoke of, the driver?
In the telephone kiosk.
No, well, look, supposing I stay with Mervyn and you continue on to the zoo with the animals.
Oh, I can't do that, Professor Tobin. I'm a qualified nurse and I must stay with him.
Well, look, here are the keys to my car. Let me take the truck out of the zoo, and when you've got poor Mervyn away in the ambulance, you can drive on to join me and collect your truck.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Professor. You're sure it's not too much trouble?
Oh, not a bit of it. Now, here you are. It starts on the key. I'll be there in double quick time. Oh, dear, they're going to be most upset at the zoo when I tell them what's happened.
Hey, where's he going with the truck?
Don't panic. That was Professor Tobin from the London Zoo. He happened to be passing and stopped. The animals have to be put into their cages or something, so he took them off. Oh, he's left his car for us. Here are the keys.
Oh.
Yes. Now. Look, Cannon, what a rotten thing to happen. Oh, thank heavens, here's the ambulance.
Go on, kid. I know how you feel. Let's get on to the zoo.
Do you think I should have gone with them?
Duty first, baby. Let's go get that truck back from the professor. I won't feel happy until I've seen all those animals under lock and key. Why didn't this professor guy wait until I got back from phoning?
He was worried about his charges.
His charges? They were under our care. Come on, hop in.
I can't think why you should be so suspicious. The man left his car. He knew all about the grey rebuck.
I've got a suspicious, nasty nature.
I wish I'd never come on this lousy assignment.
Oh, now in language. Well, I just figured that it was coincidental that he should just happen to be driving by when Lavers had his heart attack.
It's queer, Cannon.
You agree with me? Then why did you...
No, not that. Mervyn Lavers. He didn't look like a heart case, and yet to go so suddenly.
What else could it be? Or maybe you figured somebody shot him with a poisoned arrow.
Cannon, they're flagging us into the curb.
Hey, what gives?
Get out, my lad, and no funny business. Charlie, there's a girl with him. Better watch her.
What's going on?
As if you didn't know. You're both under arrest
Arrest? What for?
Driving a stolen vehicle.
Stolen vehicle? Oh, Cannon!
Professor Tobin, doing you a favor.
Oh.
Now look what you've done. We lost a valuable collection of wild animals and got arrested for stealing a car. Enough trouble for one morning? Baby, all that can happen now is the atom bomb.
At the police station, Cannon was able to prove his identity, and ruefully had to admit that he'd been duped by a clever confidence trick. He shouldered the blame, although it was Gail Hamilton's fault. A call to the London Zoo established the fact that no Professor Tobin was known there, and that the animals hadn't arrived. A call was sent out to all police posts to look out for the stolen truck, but it wasn't seen or heard of again. In my office, Sir Timothy Wentram talked to Gale and Cannon.
What I can't understand is poor old Mervyn Lavers going off like that. He'd never had a day's sickness in his life.
Yes, and it's not usual, you know. I mean, for a heart condition to strike so quickly.
Yes, I gather. Well, I'm waiting for the report now. They've done an autopsy. That might tell us something.
Yes? I see, yes. Yes, put him on. The police. Some information, I expect. Hello? Yes, speaking. Oh, good day to you, Inspector. Yes. Yes, I understand. Yes, of course. Well, it's not really inconvenient. Well, thank you. Goodbye.
News of the autopsy?
Yes. Lavers died as the result of a virulent poison introduced into his body by some means unknown.
Poison?
Yes, apparently it's a nerve poison and kills a man in a matter of seconds.
Great Scott, but how and who?
Well, that's what the police want to know.
He was in that lorry all the way from the docks. How long had you been driving before he collapsed, Miss Hamilton?
Oh, 10 minutes or so.
You didn't stop for anything? Gave no one a lift?
Absolutely nothing.
But the poison, they say, takes a second to act. You and Cannon were the only other people in the lorry with him. It's hard to conceive, but did he take anything, put anything into his mouth?
I told you, Sir Timothy, he was chatting to us. He dropped down right in the middle of a sentence. Why are you looking at me like that?
Gale, the police say that you and Cannon are not to leave the country for any reason whatever. It's pretty obvious that Mervyn Lavers was murdered. They sent Gale and Cannon home and told them to relax as best they could. Gale was stunned by the news, and Cannon, well, he just looked into the air, his brows knitted in thought. A man had been murdered, and the motive was sticking out a mile: robbery. The theft of an animal of incalculable value. But what use would that animal be to anyone? Well, I retired for the night. I couldn't sleep, and so answered at once when the phone rang by my bedside. Mason?
Hello, Chief. Can't sleep, huh?
No, I can't. Now, how did you guess?
Well, you answered the phone so fast. Look, Chief, I figure that Gale and me, we're in a bit of a spot. I rang the cops and said I had a bit of an idea, but they didn't want to talk to me. Gave me the impression that they'd like to go ahead in their own way, and that, well, I was one of the suspects.
Well, you can't blame them, Cannon. There's motive, and you were with the poor fellow when he died.
Hey, well, now, wait a minute. You
Oh,
don't
of
think...
course I don't. What would you do with a grey Reebok?
Look, Chief, I want the okay to mosey around a bit. I want to go down to the docks and see if I can't check the passengers on that ship that brought the animals over.
Was it a passenger ship?
Yeah, 10 passengers and cargo. They limit it so that they don't have to carry a ship's doctor.
Why do you want to check the passenger list?
Just a hunch I got.
Oh, it's all right with me, of course.
Okay, thanks, Chief. Try and get some sleep. Night.
Mason?
I couldn't sleep.
Oh, is that you, Gale?
Yes. Your phone was engaged the first time I rang, and I'm disturbing you again. Are you all right?
Well, of course I'm all right. Just tired, that's all.
Where's Cannon? At home?
No, he's gone down to the docks. Has a hunch, he says. Wants to check the passenger list on that ship that brought the animals.
This time of night?
Well, I suppose he knows what he's doing.
So do I. Sorry again, Chief, to have worried you. Night.
Mild and bitter, please. Say, do you know anybody here from the SS Gozo? She's docked at Millwall.
Yes, there's a couple of the crew over there. Ask that big, fair-haired one. Yes, his name's Billy Johnson. Good fella. Mild and bitter, tuna tenner.
There you are.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Are you Billy Johnson?
Yes, mate. What can I do for you?
Well, my name's Cannon. I wondered if you might help with some information about a man I'm trying to trace. I think he might have been a passenger on board the Gozo on your last trip. Professor Tobin.
Sorry, mate. No, there was no passenger by that name on the Gozo.
Oh, he might have been traveling under an assumed name.
Well, what does he look like?
Well, that's the point. I didn't really get a good look at him. You see, when I was...
Oh, Cannon, I thought I'd find you here, looking up the passenger list, huh?
Gail Hamilton. Well, for once, I'm glad you put your face in where it wasn't wanted.
Well, thank you.
This is Billy Johnson from the animal ship.
How do you do?
He says that there wasn't a passenger by the name of Tobin, but Tobin might have been traveling under an assumed name. Would you describe Tobin to Billy? I only saw him for a second as he drove off in that truck.
What makes you think Tobin might have been a passenger on that ship?
Just a hunch. Now, will you do as I say and describe this guy who hijacked the animals?
All right, don't get testy. He's very long and very thin, with thick red lips and beetle brows. His hair's long and heavy, eyes brown, complexion sallow.
Yeah, that's Mr. Edwin Nibbo. What did you say his name
It
was?
doesn't matter, Billy.
You know this bloke?
I'm getting to know him. Now, where did he board the ship?
Zanzibar. We come up the east coast of Africa from Cape Town.
Zanzibar. Billy, you don't know it, but you just saved my life. Sir Timothy, you might think I've gone nuts, but if you could help with a few answers, it might clear this whole mystery up for us.
For him, Sir Timothy, I don't know a thing that's in his mind.
Anything I can do, Cannon, far away.
Well, I want to know how the Russians fit into the animal picture. I mean, do they have zoos? Do they trade in animals? You know, anything you can tell me.
Oh, well, they have zoos, very good ones. They're on the board of the International Zoological Society and cooperate in wildlife matters as well as anyone else.
Mm-hmm. No difference between them and the Western countries as far as zoos are concerned.
No, not at all.
Tell me, do they have a specimen of this gray rebuck?
No.
Would they be happy to get a gray rebuck as a present?
They'd be delighted, as we were. But, Cannon, if you're suggesting they'd go to the trouble of murdering a British subject in his own country in order to steal a specimen, then you're barking up the wrong tree. It's inconceivable.
It doesn't have to be the Russian officials. They don't have to know about it. If they suddenly got one out of the blue, no questions asked?
I suppose they might be tempted to keep it. It's only natural, but I'm not quite sure.
Now, just a minute, Sir Timothy, if you don't mind. Why didn't the South Africans give a specimen of the rebuck to Russia?
I don't know why. I suppose we're a little closer to them than the Russians. Other than that, I can't offer an explanation.
One last thing. Tell me, how do you ship insects?
Oh, that depends. Glass cases usually, unless the insect is dangerous. There are specimens that are poisonous, you know.
Well, how do you ship them?
The Arachnida family are usually kept in individual capsules.
Could you show me one of these capsules, Sir Timothy?
Yes, right here in my drawer. You see, the capsule is just big enough to accommodate one large insect. If the insect is dangerous, we put it in a colored capsule, a black one. Yes, here's an example.
Thanks. What's this capsule made of?
Plastic, a special type of plastic. You see the little hole there? That's so the insects can breathe.
Well, I think I'm homing on beam. Sir Timothy, how can we check what Russian ships are in the vicinity of the British Isles?
Well, there aren't any naval visits. Lloyd's Register will give you the names of any cargo ships in port or arriving in port in the near future. The Russians don't operate passenger services to England.
Any other ships?
Yes, fishing boats. The Department of Fisheries would know about that.
Well, thanks, Sir Timothy. You've been a great help. Gail, come on, let's go. You've got work to do.
Gail Hamilton's various telephone calls established the fact that cargo vessels from Russia were tied up in the Thames, and that a fishing fleet was due off the Scottish coast the following day. Their nearest point on course of steaming would be off Greenock. Cannon made the next call to a newspaper friend who lived in Greenock.
MacIver, am I glad I got you? Look, I've got something hot and urgent.
You sound hot and bothered.
Mac, look, it's only a hunch, but if it comes off, you'll have the biggest newspaper scoop of all time. The animals that were stolen on their way to the London Zoo. Did you read about that?
Aye, of course I did.
Well, I've got a feeling that they may be released in the Greenock area sometime today. Will you put out an alert for people to watch out for strange animals running around?
I will. I'll get working on it right away.
Great, Mac. So long.
Bye.
Cannon.
Cannon, it's Gale.
Oh, hi, Gail.
They've analyzed the poison that killed Mervyn Lavers. You'll never guess what it is.
I already know. Lavers was killed by the bite of a black widow spider.
MacIver's call to the local people around Greenock got fast results. The animals had been let loose. All of them except the grey rebuck. That rare creature in its crate was apprehended in a motor launch with the elusive Mr. Tobin, on its way out to sea to join the Russian fishing fleet. Tobin was a Russian agent and an amateur naturalist in his spare time. He thought to curry favor with the Kremlin by presenting them with a specimen unknown except in South Africa. But, well, let Cannon finish this story.
Lavers died suddenly in the truck. Tobin was following behind in his car. Now, how could Tobin be sure of the time, give or take 5 minutes, when the spider would strike? Well, it was a hot and sultry day, remember? Tobin transferred his spider to a capsule made not of plastic, but of thin wax. He slipped this capsule into Lavers' hat when he was busy with the animals on board ship. In the truck it was hot. The heat of Lavers' body melted the wax and released the spider. I figured that was the only way it could have happened, and I knew I was right when I found out that Tobin traveled on the animal ship with the black capsules.
So now you know why the story was called A Widow in Black. Hello?
Hello. Is that...
Assignments Unlimited here. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Can I see someone? I want to speak to... I'm not sure who.
Hello? Hello?
I want someone to help me. I can't talk to you now. Can I come and see you?
Yes.
Well, can I come now?
Well, certainly. Where are you phoning from?
Wood Green, in the high road. Where do I have to come to?
We're at 33 Half Moon Street. The ink is hardly dry on the file marked, "The Man Who Thought Too Much." The woman sitting in front of me in the office was aged about 30. She was frail, poorly dressed, and as distraught as ever I've seen a woman in the whole of my life. She'd cried a lot. She puffed at the cigarette I'd given her, but she wasn't enjoying it. So far, I'd learnt nothing about the purpose of her visit. "Mrs. Reynolds, please tell me why you've come here. You must understand that it'll be difficult for us to help you if you can't tell us what troubles you."
I'm sorry. I can't seem to explain. It's my husband. I want you to see him. And the baby, and tell him it'll be all right. But he mustn't.
Mustn't what, Mrs. Reynolds?
Kill himself and my baby. Oh, I'm sorry, it's no use. I'd better go.
Oh, Mrs. Reynolds, you mustn't go. Not like this.
I don't want to go to the police, you see. If I do, well, they might try to stop him. And, well, you know, they're not very... Mr. Mason, he will do it.
Mrs. Reynolds, what's your name? Your Christian name?
Ruth.
Tell me about yourself, Ruth.
About myself?
Where you live, about your husband, your baby.
Oh, he's a little boy. 3. His name's John.
Your husband?
Ian. He was a soldier in Korea.
Yes?
And we've been married nearly 10 years, you see. He was so pleased when John was born. Then he began to get depressed again.
Depressed?
Yes. You see, the war was bad for him. He said he'd never go. He was 19 when they called him up. He said he wouldn't go, but there didn't seem to be much he could do about it, and he just sort of went. We weren't married then. I knew him at school, you see. We got married after he came home, when he got demobbed.
Oh, he was a national serviceman?
That's right. He used to cry a lot. I couldn't bear it.
Why did he cry?
He said Korea was more important than the 2 world wars. He said that after all the excitement and that, after the other war was over, everybody expected things to be better, but they got worse. Things in the world, I mean. And I agree with him, you see. But you can't just give up, can you? You've got to go on trying. I mean, there's the baby and everything. He mustn't kill Johnny. Not my baby.
Ruth. Oh, you must not cry. You hear me? Please, please talk to me.
I'm going to have another baby, too. That's what made him say he'd do it. He doesn't want John to grow up in this world, you see. He says it's best if he dies when he's too young to know anything about it. He said about the war in Vietnam, and everybody's saying it will cause a new war. Mr. Mason, do you understand what...
I understand, Ruth. I do understand everything. Ruth, will you have a drink of this?
No, I don't think I... No, really.
Oh, please, just drink this.
Thank you.
Hi, Chief. Look, I'll be back
Cannon,
in just...
Cannon, don't go anywhere. I want to see you.
Oh, but Chief,
5 minutes, Cannon. Come up in 5 minutes.
Is there anything you can do, Mr. Mason? It said in your advertisement that... I don't know what to do.
Ruth. Will you take Mr. Cannon to your house? I'll explain.
Yes, but I don't think Ian will see him.
I told Cannon all I knew about the Reynolds. I asked him to go because, well, I knew that he'd fought in the Korean War. There was at least a common bond between him and Ruth's husband, however slender it might have been. At first, Cannon thought Ian Reynolds too addicted to television dramatics, but I made him understand that, well, I thought it was more serious than that. This was something new to us at 33 Half Moon Street. The least we could do was to find out just how sincere Reynolds was. Cannon left with Ruth at 1:30. At the moment of departure, Cannon still complained that he'd missed his lunch, but the events of that afternoon were to make him lose all interest in food for a very long time.
We're on the 7th floor. There's no lift, I'm afraid.
Wood Green. This is new to me.
We've only been here a few months. We had a house, but, well, Ian lost his job and we couldn't keep up with the payments. Mr. Cannon, be careful with him. Don't make him angry.
Look, will you show me your place and then let me go in alone?
What will you say?
Look, just leave it to me. Trust me.
But can I come in afterwards? John hasn't had his dinner yet.
Sure. Oh, 6th floor. Now, listen, don't come any further now.
It's the next landing. It's a sort of bluish door, number 37.
Okay.
Mr. Cannon.
Well, look, can you see your window from the movie house over the way there?
Yes, I think so.
Well, it's 2:45 now. At a little after 3, I'll look out of your window if things are okay.
But...
Well, when you come up, just act like that you don't know who I am, you see? I'm going up there now.
Right. Be careful with him, please, Mr. Cannon.
Sure.
Who's that?
Can I see you for a minute?
What for? Who are you? Yes?
Say, is that Duke Ellington you're playing there?
What? Oh, yes.
Yeah, I thought so, you know. I was just coming up these stairs and I heard the Duke. 7 flights up and I'm hearing the Duke.
Sorry, mister. I'm not allowed.
No, wait a minute. Look, you don't know who I am, but, well, I'd like to listen to more of that.
I'm sorry, mister, but you'll wake the kid up.
You don't know of an apartment for me in this block, do you? I mean, I'm looking for some...
You want to live here?
Yeah, well, I thought it's
Mister,
convenient.
this is near a sweet factory. Stinks of licorice every morning. Whole place stinks.
Yeah? Well, you know, it's kind of drafty out here.
Yeah. Well, you want to hear the Creole Love Call?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to very much.
Okay. You got to be quiet, though.
Sure, I'll be quiet. Say, how come the music don't wake the kid?
Well, he's used to it. He can sleep through jazz. He just wakes when people talk too much, that's all.
Well, this isn't so bad.
It's a lousy place to live.
Where's your son?
Through there. Son?
Well, I mean, you look the kind of man to have a boy. I'm sorry, I won't talk loud.
What's your name?
Cannon. So, you just sit here and play jazz all day?
My wife has a job. Don't you want to know why I don't go out to work? Outside, I mean. Well, don't you? I did, mister. I did.
Tell me, do you write? I mean, to typewriter and gramophone and enough here to keep a guy busy.
Look, Mr. Cannon, I don't know what you want.
Well, I just want to talk. I don't know anybody here. Understand? I just want to talk. Mind if I see your records?
If you want to.
Hey, you got Satch at the town hall here. Tell me, how do you work this machine?
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
It takes a while to warm up, see?
Now, that's nice. What I call real nice. Hey, we're high up here.
Yeah. What are you doing? There's Ruth down there.
Ruth?
Get out, Cannon.
Hey, now, look, just...
Get out! She sent you here, didn't she? What are you?
Look, I don't know... No, just wait a minute.
I thought there was something funny about you. You didn't come up here because you heard Ellington. Now get out. I know her. She sent you here to talk to me. I wonder where she'd gone today.
Hey, now take it easy, man.
It's loaded, and I know what to do with it.
Yeah, I believe you.
And you can tell my wife, my dearly beloved...
All right.
No, stay where you are, Cannon. You're a copper, I suppose.
No, I'm not a copper.
No, a copper would have been clever. How much did she tell you about me? Oh, come on, how much?
Well, only that you needed help. I mean, that you'd got yourself bugged up about the war.
Bugged up? Oh, no. Bugged up. You talk like an American picture, Mr...
Reynolds, don't wave that thing around, huh?
Out. Come on!
Ian, please open the door, darling.
No, Ruth, no more. Go away, don't come here again. I'm going to let Cannon out, and then you've got to go away, both of you.
Oh, Ian, I've got to talk to you. I'm sorry, dear, but I must see John.
He's asleep. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need anybody. Now then, Cannon, when I open this door, I want you out. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Ian. Oh, Ian.
After that, Reynolds switched on the gramophone. And apart from the soprano saxophone of Sidney Bechet, there was silence in the flat. Cannon had to find another way in, another way of talking to Reynolds.
Ruth, tell me, why hasn't John woken yet?
Oh, I expect he has. His father's told him not to come out.
Uh-huh. Look, can I get into the room any other way?
Get into the room?
Yeah.
Oh, next door's empty. What? Oh, I see.
Come on.
Oh, yes. This is number 36.
36, huh?
Are those keys the ones that open anywhere?
Almost, with prayer and a bit of luck sometimes. Uh-huh.
Oh, what you going to...
Well, just wait here a minute. Come on.
If you climb along there, he'll see you.
Shh. Look, just wait and don't talk to me.
He's still playing the gramophone.
Yeah, well, that couldn't be better. Guess I spoke too soon. Oh, well, here we go, Cannon boy. Well, if I fall now, exit Cannon before his birthday.
Back, Cannon! Come on, Cannon, back!
Now listen to me, Reynolds. I want to talk to you.
You said it all, Mr. Cannon. Cannon, you come any closer and I'm going to kill you. I'm going to put this window down and I'm going to watch it from inside the room here. And as soon as I see your silly face, Cannon, I'm going to shoot you.
Come on, Reynolds. Let me in.
Get out! Get out! Get out!
I had the telephone number of the block where the Reynolds lived, but for some reason I didn't have the address. It was about 3:30 when I rang.
Hello? Oh, hello, Chief. Yeah, well, look, I haven't had any time to make any calls. Yeah, well, look, Reynolds shot a vase or something through the window. What? No, well, look, there's a cop here now. No, just a few scratches, nothing serious.
Mr.
Look,
Cannon.
Chief, look, you better come over here.
Mr. Cannon, I'll have
Well,
to
you
start
got the number. Yeah, well, it's Carlin Heights, 304 Green Lanes. Yeah, Wood Green. You got it? Okay, bye, Chief.
I can't hold on any longer. There's a crowd down there now.
A crowd? Look, officer, there's 10 people down there, so a vase came through a window.
Mr.
So what?
Cannon, I'll
No, let me finish. A vase is thrown through a window and 10 people come to see the fun. They'll go away. Just give me a little more time.
That man's disturbing the peace up there, Mr. Cannon.
He's going to do a lot more than disturb the peace if you barge in with men in uniform. Look, I want a little time. I'll buy that time if necessary, but I need time. I'm sorry, I'm not being diplomatic.
All right, I'll wait. You can have your time, but I won't wait long.
Thanks. Reynolds! Reynolds! Reynolds, your wife's gone. Oh, I don't know why you're doing this, boy, but you're going out there again. Gotta have another talk with Mr. Reynolds. Here we go. Yeah, take it easy now. On the edge here. Here we are. Reynolds, look, you gotta come out now. Please, it's all over. You hear me?
I hear you, Cannon.
What are you trying to do? Look, what have you got against your wife?
I've got nothing against Ruth.
Then what? Look, I'll come in.
Stay there. I'm sick of telling you to get away from me.
Look, man, it's a long way down here.
That's your funeral.
Listen, you reckon you're gonna kill yourself, Reynolds?
Yes. Why?
Well, that's the question I want to ask you.
You reckon you got a right to ask that?
Yeah, and I'm asking it.
This is a pretty place, the world. You like it, I suppose.
Well, I can stand it. I have to.
Well, I can't stand it. I don't have to.
But why the devil...
Prime Minister Wilson, the war in the East can't be won. Moscow can't win. Peking can't win. Switzerland's getting a bomb, and Sweden. It'll be Wood Green's turn next. We'll all have bombs. We'll be getting on the bus in the morning with them strapped on our backs.
Hey, now, wait a minute, Reynolds. Hold it. Listen, you just can't blot all that out. You still gotta live. And your kids gotta live, too.
Why?
Because that's how it's always been. That's what life's all about, Mac. You get up, they smack you down again. But you get up. You keep getting up because you're a man. Look, I know how it is. I was in Korea, too.
I'm not talking about Korea to anyone, let alone you, Cannon.
Listen, you got a child in there, Reynolds. He can't still be asleep.
He's not, but he won't come out because I've told him not to.
Listen, can you hear those kids over there, Reynolds? Can you see them? Now, why can't he run like that? You gonna take that from him? Doesn't he have a say in this?
This is no place for John, not this world. I'm gonna save him.
From what?
From the politicians. From the little men in black who pull strings so the rest of us jump like puppets. What chance do you think he's got, Cannon?
Well, I think he's got a chance. Give me that gun! Oh! Well, at least I'm inside.
Now you've had it. Because you're dead, too. Do you hear me? You're a dead man!
Are you there, Cannon? Cannon! I've just phoned the station.
Yeah, Chief?
Open the door.
Well, I'm afraid it's kind of out of my hands.
John hasn't had any food all day.
Shut up! Stand back. We're We're coming in. You two, and you'll all die. I'll take the lot of you. Get out now.
Reynolds, I'm not going.
I don't want to shoot you. You've got nothing to do with all this. Cannon!
I'm afraid you're wrong, Reynolds. I've got everything to do with it. I wrote in and said I could do it. And here I am. Now give me that gun.
No.
Come on, give it to me.
No. I'm going to shoot myself, and I'm taking my son with me. Because he doesn't want to live any longer in this world.
You haven't thought about
I've
this.
thought of everything. Everything there is to think about, you fool. You think I decided to do this on the spur of the moment during lunch one day at the Vickers, do you?
Look, cut the dramatics and give me that gun.
No, Cannon. You're beginning to bore me now. In fact, you've been one big bore from beginning to end. Come on out now. It's all over.
Yeah. It's all over for you, Reynolds.
John.
Now, look. Reynolds, leave that kid be. Leave him alone. Come here, Sonny. Come here. Now, listen. I'm going to take you out there now. You come on with me. Come on.
Cannon.
Now, look. Just a minute, Reynolds. Down there, they're playing. All the kids. All the kids in the world are playing right now outside this block. Every kid that's ever been born. They're skipping and playing and singing and dancing. Everywhere they go, there's music. There's music because there are kids. And because they are kids. And because nothing can touch them. Nothing at all. All the bombs since the world began can fall in 1 hour. But they don't care because tomorrow is tomorrow. And there must be a sun. Even if it rains, there'll be a sun because they're kids. And that's how it is with kids. And this one here, Reynolds. Your son. Do you know what he'll look like with a bullet through his head, Reynolds, do you?
Oh, no.
He won't look so good, you lousy coward. He's gonna have his chance. And it'll take more than you to stop him. He'll forget you. Mark my words, he will. All right, we're coming out now, Chief. Open up the door. You better open up the door, Reynolds. Come on, open it up. It's still sunshine outside. This kid's tired of the dark. Listen, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you to open that door. Come on, give me the key. Give me the key! Yeah, that's better. Now open it up. Come on, open it.
Johnny. Oh, Johnny, baby.
Is Reynolds coming out? Is this? Yeah. This is the kid. I don't know about Reynolds. I don't think there's any more can be done. I guess you can go in there now, officer.
Stevens! Mrs. Reynolds, take the child away now, will you?
Reynolds shot himself in that room in Wood Green North 22. He shot himself whilst children played outside the school 2 blocks away. Reynolds killed himself whilst his wife carried their son down the stairs. She heard the gunfire, and she knew what it was, but she didn't stop. There must be a multitude of men like Ian Reynolds. Wherever they look, this world has nothing to offer them. Nowhere can they see a place for themselves in the scheme of things. They carry guilt, theirs and others, around with them for all of their days. Then they crack. There was nothing we could do to help Reynolds. Cannon told me later that all the time he talked with him, he could think of nothing to say because Reynolds was already dead. His eyes were dead. Cannon spoke words, but he said nothing, because all the time he couldn't stop looking at the eyes of this man. There comes a moment when one cannot think too long and too deep about the things that happen. Some people cannot stop thinking. Reynolds couldn't. And that's why we marked the file the man who thought too much.
newspaper last week. It's in again today. Some organization that claims to go anywhere and do anything. It might be worth a try.
We'd have to be honest with them, Mac. Where are they?
In the West End. 33 Half Moon Street.
Charles Alston and Alistair McPhee were two businessmen who turned to profit a stretch of waste waterland on the River Lee between Freezy Water and Waltham Abbey, just north of London. The low-lying area had been dredged years before for building sand, and the resultant excavation had filled with water seepage from the river. The 100-feet-deep man-made lake was bought by the two speculators and turned into a holiday resort. They enjoyed considerable success until, well, let Alistair McPhee tell you as he told me in my office.
You see, Mr. Mason, there's 50 acres of water there and quite safe for boating, bathing, and fishing. It's stocked with pike and carp and has been crowded with visitors every weekend. But that was until a young fellow with his girl in an outboard skiff lost his engine over the side. It was in water too deep for ordinary diving, and so he got a skin-diving friend to go down for it. The friend didn't come up again, at least not for 5 hours. The police had arrived by then, but before they did anything, the lad's body floated to the surface.
A tragic accident.
Aye, that's what everyone thought. But the outboard motor was still at the bottom. The owner offered a small reward for its recovery, and another skin diver chappie tried his luck, with the same result.
Is there an undercurrent there, or weeds or something?
Weeds, aye, but not enough to make it dangerous. And it's still water, fed by the River Lee. There can be no undercurrent. There's nowhere for the water to flow.
I take the press had a heyday over the double tragedy.
Naturally. And business fell off a little, but not so that we had to worry unduly. However, my partner here and I thought it might be as well to have the bottom of the lake at this point thoroughly investigated. I was in the cable and maintenance service in the war, and I knew an experienced diver who was working for himself on the coast. His base was at Portsmouth, so I gave him a ring.
Another skin diver?
No, deep water equipment. I asked him to bring his diving suit, winch, and air pump. I knew I could rig it from a dinghy and operate it for him. I worked on the winches in the Navy, you see. Well, he arrived, and we began diving operations 3 days afterwards. He was linked to the dinghy by line, air hose, and phone. His instructions were to report everything he found straight back to the boat. The day was perfect for him. Well, let's get you screwed down, Willie. Test for air. It's fine. Try the talkback phone. 1, 2, 3.
Receiving you clear, Mac. Check the line for fouling.
Line coiled and checked. You're all set to go. Alston, give him a hand over the gunwale.
Right. Give me a fathom count, Mac. Here I
go. Here's the mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's visibility like?
Clear as a bell. Yeah, I'll only need my headlamp at this rate. What's the mark?
18, 19.
I'm on the bottom. Check the line.
Line checked. How's the air hose?
Perfect.
115 feet. Give me a check on the bottom, Willie.
Fair amount of weed. Light silk with a hard undercrust. I'm walking north.
Keep your eyes peeled for the outboard motor.
Yeah, I am. Ground undulates badly. I'll have to climb up the sides just here.
That's the dredgers, Willie. Why have you stopped?
No, go away.
Huh?
Go away!
What is it, Willie? What is it? The bottles! Alston, the bottles! His airline's been cut! Start the winch! For heaven's sake, pull him up! We were too late, Mr. Mason. When we got him aboard, he was dead.
What was it cut the line?
We don't know, but cut it was, clean as a whistle.
Well, there must have been an investigation, surely.
Aye, there was. Death by misadventure was the verdict. You see, the dredgers dug down to shale and slate, some of it sharp as a knife. To the inquest, there didn't seem any other explanation. As he was climbing over the trenches, they said his line must have fouled on an outjutting piece of slate, and that was that.
You don't agree?
The war's been over a long time, Mr. Mason, but I haven't lost my touch. His air hose was taut all the time. It wasn't slate that cut that line.
Did you mention his cry just before it happened?
I must confess I didn't.
Why on earth not?
Oh, in the cold light of day and the sober atmosphere of the court, I just couldn't bring myself to say it. I had the feeling they'd have laughed at me.
Are you sure you heard him scream?
I've asked myself that 1,000 times. I know he did, but even Alston here is sceptical, and I can't say I blame him. Anyway, the newspapers did the rest. Does death lurk in the deep? That was the headline, and that was the end of visitors to Merry Lake Holiday Resort.
Well, it's an incredible story, Mr. McPhee. And you, I take it, want one of my men to dive to the bottom again to retrieve the lost outboard motor.
Oh, no, that's not necessary. The morning following Wally's death, the outboard motor was found dumped on the shore of the lake.
What? Well, who put it there?
Well, that, Mr. Mason, is what we'd like you to find out.
I didn't quite know how to put it to Cannon. Like McPhee, I had a feeling he'd laugh at me. However, McPhee had offered a large sum of money if I could induce one of my men to go down there again in the presence of members of the press. I secretly resolved to do the job myself if Cannon dismissed the whole thing as nonsense. All I could manage as he lounged into the office was, "Cannon, have you had any experience with monsters?"
Oh, plenty of times, Chief, but a civil tongue always pays off with that type of client.
No, I mean real monsters, denizens of the deep.
What do you think I am, a curb sitter on Skid Row?
We have a client, a Scotsman, who's suffering from hallucinations. He's prepared to pay a high price to have his psychological fears dispelled.
A Scotsman? Boy, that must be some hallucination he's got.
There's a man-made lake near Freezywater on the Hertfordshire Road that's claimed 2 skin divers' lives and a 3rd conventional diver who had his air pipe cut.
Freezywater? That's a long way from Loch Ness.
Mr. McPhee, that's the client, thinks there's dirty work in the muddy water. He wants one of us to dive there and do a double check.
A double check for the 4th time. Okay, when do I dive?
When can you do it?
No time like the present. Anyway, who wants to make a dinner appointment with a man-eating monster? Okay, screw me down, Mac. That water looks inviting.
Test for air. Air okay. Try the talkback phones, please, Mr. Cannon. 1, 2...
Okay for talkback. Clear. Now do a line fouling check.
Line coiled and checked. All set to go.
Okay. Now give me a fathom count and watch that airline. I never did take to drinking water. Hey, just a minute. I got something to take with me. Can you hand me that canvas bag, Mike?
Aye, here it is. What have you got in there?
Professor Pickard's patent monster cure.
Huh?
It's a compressed air rifle, an underwater gun.
They tell me there's pike in this lake. Now, I'm no piker, but I'm partial to fresh fish. Okay. Over I go.
Here's the mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right there?
Yeah, how's the airline?
Tight. I've paid out a few hundred, Mr. Cannon, and never lost one yet.
Oh, we were right. Mark?
17, 18, 19.
Bottom. You checked the lines, huh?
112 feet. Lines checked. What can you see?
Weed. But not serious. I'm walking north. The bottom's full of ditches. I gotta climb.
Lines are all right.
Silt's about 6 inches. The ground is hard underneath. Hey, there is a current. Small, but strong enough to roll flotsam. Runs, west-southwest.
That's the direction of the river.
Could be. Hey, what?
Huh?
I know you don't.
What is it, Cannon? What is it?
Why, you lousy... Got him. Hey, Mike, take me up fast.
Engine, stand by the winch. Full speed. You can't get the bends at this depth. Give it all you've got. You are right, Cannon.
Sure. Just keep heaving, boys. I only took 1 charge in the gun.
What is it, McPhee?
He's all right. He's breaking surface. Bring him inboard. Cut the engine. Here you are, here in a jiffy. There.
Oh, blue sky. It's green down there.
What did you see?
Fish or fowl, that's the question.
What was it, Cannon?
It was just something I saw and shot at. I hit it, too.
A fish?
Or a mammal. Know how you can find out?
How?
Take a look at that little patch that's floated to the surface. You can collect some and have it analyzed. It's blood.
He refused to discuss his underwater excursion until the blood sample was collected from the surface of the water and had been analyzed. Even then, he was vague. But discuss it we did. We had no other alternative because the blood was human blood.
You see, Chief, the lake bottom undulates all over the place. I guess it's that way on account of the dredgers scooping out the sand. They took it right to the bottom and left the understrata exposed. Now, all the years, the weed has taken root, and it grows up the sides of the ditches. So you can't tell whether there's a passage through or whether you're going to walk into a solid wall of rock behind the weed. It's a great place to play underwater hide-go-seek.
But you knew you were being attacked. You must have seen your adversary.
No, not too clearly. There was a whole wall of weed in front of me. Like I said, you can't tell if it's solid or not. He came out of one side of the wall where there must be a passage. I only saw him in time.
Well, what did he look like? That's all we want to know. Come in.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Oh, hello, Mr. McPhee. Do come in. Have a chair.
Thank you. Have you heard the report of the analyst?
Yes. We know it was human blood.
What can it mean?
Well, that's what we're trying to determine. Cannon here was just relating his experience with the, well, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right.
What was it, Mr. Cannon?
It was a human. You got the report.
But it didn't look like a human?
Neither does any kid who dresses up for Halloween.
What are you trying to say, Cannon?
Look, Chief, I was in conventional diving gear. I only had a brief glimpse of the guy.
If it was human...
Well, it was human, all right. Didn't look human, but it was. I had to get hauled in on account of I had one shot in that gun. If he'd cut my airline, I'd have wound up like your last diver. But the next time, things are going to be different.
The next time?
Sure. You don't think I'm going to leave it there, do you? That rat tried to murder me. I don't like that. In fact, Mrs. Cannon's favorite little boy takes positive umbrage.
You mean you're going down again?
Check. But this time in a skin. And I'm taking a self-loading spring gun with me. It takes two people to play hide-go-seek, and in this game only one wins.
Well, whoever or whatever it is down there will be on guard the next time.
Whoever it is has been on guard a long time, ever since that first guy in a skin got drowned.
He'll know the underwater terrain better than you.
Yeah, I thought of that one, too. Right now, he's not feeling too good. I can't say for sure where I got him, but get him I did, and he lost blood. He'll be resting up for a while, I guess. So that gives me time to case that lake bed. So we'll break even when we meet again.
You've got a lot of courage.
Thanks.
Did you report to the chief constable, Mr. McPhee?
Aye, I did. And he reacted as I thought he would. In fact, he as good as said I was only trying to get some cheap publicity for the resort.
So you'll really be on your own, Cannon?
Well, that's the way I like it.
If you clear up the mystery, Mr. Cannon, I'll add £500 to your fee.
No kidding. Well, what do you know? A game of touch for big money stakes. Better than a gambling dive.
Cannon's pecker was up, and that's all there was to it. He insisted on operating alone and curtly refused my offer of help. He dived for 3 days in succession without mishap, and on the fourth day, after only an hour in the water, he packed his kit and returned to town and the office. For once, he seemed in a cheerful mood as he sauntered in, a hastily wrapped parcel under his arm.
Hi, Chief. Great day for swimming.
Oh, you're back early. Tired of searching for your will-o'-the-wisp?
I found something else.
What?
Like I know why that guy was so anxious that nobody went moseying around his Davy Jones locker.
Well, out with it. What did you find?
You better ring your friend Chief Inspector Bottomley and get him round here right away.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Cannon, come on.
You really want to see?
Well, of course I do.
Okay. There.
Great Scott! Well, what is it?
It's a human head. Female.
Oh, wrap it up again.
Sure.
Where did you find that?
In the weeds. It was partly covered with silt. Remember that current I told you about? The one that flowed west-southwest? Well, it got washed along by that. The heavy boots on the diving gear must have stirred up the mud and exposed it. It's my guess this guy, whoever he is, has been trying for the past few weeks to locate it.
But it's ghastly.
And how? But that's not all. I found a small piece of cloth from a girl's dress, I think. Here, come over to the window and have a good look.
All right.
Now, take a look here. You see, it's got a printed pattern.
Yes, it is. Poplin, I guess. Well, that's a pretty cheap material these days. Do you think it came from the dead woman's clothes?
I'm sure of it.
Very clever, Mr. Cannon.
What?
Stay where you are. You too, Mr. Mason.
Alston? What are you doing here?
Well, it's not a social call, not with that luger he's waving.
Quite right, Mr. Cannon. But then you're always right, aren't you?
No, I make mistakes, like not locking the door, or like not going to the police in the first place, or like missing your black heart with my spear gun.
Oh, it wasn't me you shot at, Cannon. I'm far too long in the tooth to cavort around underwater. A hireling. But he's well out of the way now.
Does McPhee know about this?
Oh, certainly not. McPhee is a man of impeccable character. Then so am I. Sometimes circumstances force us to unpleasant action.
Like the brutal murder of an innocent girl?
Oh, she wasn't so innocent. Oh, that's by the way. I'll take the piece of cloth, if you don't mind, and the parcel. Now you'll accompany me to my car.
Drop dead.
On the contrary. It's you who'll drop dead, Cannon. What does one more murder matter? Or two?
We'd better do as he says, Cannon.
Ah, that's sensible. The gun will be in my pocket, and I'll shoot if you make the slightest move to escape.
How did you get past Miss Fairweather?
With the aid of a little chloroform. Now, she'll suffer nothing more than a headache when she recovers, and she didn't see who her assailant was. Sorry.
Oh, you're mad.
Am I? My car's outside. Now, off you go.
Where do we go to?
My car.
And then?
They say a murderer always revisits the scene of his crime. Let's put the theory into practice, shall we? Let me enlighten you on a few things. See? A peephole in the boathouse through to the south bank of the lake. I had a man sitting here, a crippled man, bent and warped so the movement was painful. A helpless man chained to my will through an unfortunate accident many years ago. His instructions were simple. When people arrived on the south bank, he would don his skin diving suit and take to the water. Just a skin diving suit, but painted in garish colors. Frightening colors, like a Montezuma warrior engaging battle with Hernan Cortez.
You're insane, Alston. As mad as a hatter.
Oh, don't you think so? Insane or not, my plan worked admirably. To waylay the curious underwater and eliminate them by the simple process of drowning. Neat. And the resultant fear in the minds of the stupid public kept the lake clear of the curious until I'd found what I'd lost.
Except that Cannon found it for you.
Yes, he did. Now, the two skin suits from our dear departed friends are in that corner over there. You'll kindly put them both on.
How come a cripple could swim like that, Austin?
He was energetic, wasn't he?
Fast as a snake, not like a cripple.
He suffered from the bends. An accident many years ago when he practiced as a professional diver.
That doesn't answer the question, Alston.
Doesn't it? Oh, then I'll explain. If a man's diving at great depth, his body undergoes an enormous pressure change. When he's brought to the surface, he must be taken up slowly so that the change in pressure is gradual. If he comes up too fast, the poor fellow gets bubbles of nitrogen in his blood. He's then a cripple. However, if he returns to the same depth, his symptoms disappear and he's quite normal again.
Yeah, that's right enough, Chief. As long as the man with the bend stays underwater at pressure, he's normal. The bubbles return when he comes to the surface.
Can you imagine how a hopeless cripple would feel, knowing that for a few hours he could feel normal and move without restraint? I never need worry about my diver. He'll always do what I say, or remain a miserable cripple. You see, I have the diving suit.
You're a fiend.
Yes, I am. Well, now that you're both dressed in skins, we'll go to the boat.
What are you going to do?
You'll see. Outside and into the boat. This will do, I think. Pleasant on the lake in the late afternoon, isn't it? There's no point in looking around, Mason. The Merry Lake Pleasure Resort is far from merry these days. Nobody comes here. Nobody at all. It's incredible how superstitious the public can be.
Who was the girl, Olson?
Oh, a local working-class girl of no consequence. She died. I was forced to hide her away.
Where did you dispose of the body?
Here and there. What you found, Cannon, was lost by accident. I had my men diving for 2 weeks searching before that idiot boy dropped his outboard motor right in the area where the search was being conducted.
You won't get away with this, you know.
Oh, but I will. It's well known that Cannon's been diving every day. You, Mason, you told McPhee that you'd like to dive yourself. 2 more tragedies will be added to the mystery of Merry Lake, and no one will ever be the wiser. You see, I don't mind how much they investigate the lake bottom now. I found what I wanted.
Well, the cripple, he'll talk.
Never. He's only a danger to me under the water. And I never go into the water. In fact, I can't even swim.
He can still talk on the surface.
Yes, but he won't. It's the effort. And any great effort on his part is a strain on the heart. You see, he's not young anymore. Now, enough talk. I'll be back in the city by 7 o'clock. I'm delivering a lecture to the Ichthyological Society. Ever seen one of these before?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a dart gun, land type. They use them to dope animals and inject serum to the lions at the zoo.
That's right, Cannon. A poison dart. But a poison that'll only put you to sleep. The water will do the rest when I drop your bodies overboard.
You got it all figured out, haven't you, Olson?
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, this is...
What happened, Cannon?
The cripple. He's got Olson. Come on, swim back to the boat.
Where is he, Cannon?
He's somewhere in the deep, Chief. He won't let go of Olson.
Poetic justice.
Yeah. That effort must have cost the cripple every reserve of stamina he had. At a guess, I'd say neither of them will surface alive.
Poor devil.
Yeah. Poor devil. But maybe it's as well, Chief. At least he's free at last.
Both bodies were washed ashore the following day. The murder of the unfortunate girl made headlines throughout the country, but no connection was made between the cripple and the insane Alston. We informed McPhee as to what had happened, but as he rightly said...
What's the point of telling them at the inquest? They'd laugh at you.
The last I heard of McPhee, he was prospecting for oil in the Sahara Desert. It seemed he couldn't get far enough away from water.
The new Sopwith's ready, Chief.
Great help that is.
Well, I've done a wonderful job again. It's an exact replica of the World War I Sopwith camel.
Don't give me a sales talk. They made 3 before, and every one dug the dirt. So they've done a good job this time. Yeah. Well, where do you suppose I got a man to fly that thing?
Oh, no, I've tried the agencies, Chief. No dice.
You don't have to tell me. Only a nut would fly that plane.
Well, I thought, Chief, that the show must go on, even in motion pictures. So, well, I rang a firm in the West End who specialize in doing offbeat jobs. They've got a pilot. If you could go and see them...
Mark, to get this movie completed, I'd go and see the Queen herself. Where is this joint?
33 Half Moon Street.
The Reluctant Camel, I like to think of myself as a patron of the arts. I have a tremendous liking for theatre and music, and am at ease in the company of the artistic. But motion picture people are an exception. For some reason, they unnerve me, and where a temperamental opera star would leave me unmoved, a brash film magnate sets my nerves a jangle. When the bulbous personage of David Sandler thrust itself into my office, well, I had an immediate misgivings and a forlorn wish that I hadn't been so hasty in my acceptance of the work telephonically.
This is a picture of a war. The war to end all wars. That's a laugh, isn't it?
Well, I suppose it is, Mr. Sandler.
The Royal Flying Corps in World War I, full of high drama, but cleaner than trench mud and poison gas. The story of a man who won your highest award, the Victoria Cross. You know the decoration, sir?
Well, I'm acquainted with it, yes.
Heroism is the meat in the picture pie these days, and this movie's got it with a capital H.
I understand you want the services of a pilot, Mr. Sandler.
That's right. One that will sign a bloodshed.
That I'm not acquainted with.
An indemnity document against accident. I might as well tell you here and now that this scene I'm trying to complete has caused about as many casualties as Passchendaele. The pilot has to fly a Sopwith Camel. That's a plane they used in the First World War.
Good heavens. I didn't think there was such a thing outside the War Museum.
You'd be thinking right if you thought that. I've had these planes specially made. With the exception of the engine, which is better than the original, they've been exact replicas of the old crazy machines flown by the Royal Flying Corps.
Did you say they've been?
I'm on the 4th machine now.
And the others?
Crashed. And don't ask me why. The last one even had a regular airworthy ticket. The controls are modern. It's only the outside that's ancient design, the fuselage, you know.
And what would my man be asked to do?
Fly.
Is that all?
That's enough. The accident rate with these crates makes them the most expensive coffins ever manufactured.
Well, I'll put it to Cannon and see what he says.
Cannon?
He's one of my operators. He has an A license and will probably jump at the opportunity to work on a flick.
A flick? Oh, yeah, a movie. Well, the field's at Potter's Bar. You know where that is? Right on the Green Line bus route.
Yes, I know it well.
Made a mock-up there of Flanders. Can't tell the difference from the real thing. Had the artillery blast off 5,000 shells into a field. Great for realism.
And rather expensive, I imagine.
No, expense is no object, provided I get the rushes over at the States in 3 weeks. If I don't make the deadline, we'll be beaten to the punch by Marley Brothers Incorporated, and yours truly will be for the high jump.
A competitive company.
You said it, Mr. Mason. Competitive with a capital K. Okay, I'll see your pilot at Potter's Bar at 6:30 a.m. And don't forget to tell him about that blood shit. No sign, no fly, no pay. Okay?
Okay. I mean, of course. Understood.
$500 a day. And if the last 3 pilots are anything to go by, he'll earn every dime.
Cannon was delighted with the prospect of flying this strange aircraft, but resolved to have a good look at it before taking off in the morning. He tried to telephone David Sandler, but the movie mogul was not available. This caused certain complications. When Cannon drove up to the field at Potter's Bar...
Hey, you! Where do you think you're going?
Out of the field.
Yeah, well, that's what you think, mate. This is private property. No one's allowed near the airy plane.
I'm the new pilot. I came to have a look at the machine.
Oh, in the pitch dark?
Well, I expect there's a light in the cockpit.
Yeah. Have you got any identification?
Such as?
A company ticket?
No, I haven't. I tried to ring Mr. Sandler, but he wasn't available.
Yeah, well, then you've had it, mate. 3 of them planes are going up in smoke already. My orders are nobody goes near the thing until the film unit gets here tomorrow.
Yeah, well, maybe it's just as well. They're having a guard, I mean. Tell me, did you see the other planes crash?
Not me, mate. I works all night, so I sleeps in the day. But my kid, Harry, he saw 'em, all 3. Just went into the ground, he says. Flying along right as rain 1 minute, and the next thing, wham, straight into the deck. Well, daft, I calls it. All that dough just for the sake of a film. Yeah, but then that's the Yanks all over, isn't it? Don't know what to do with their boodle.
Is that a fact?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're a Yank, ain't you?
I am, but there's a big difference. I know just what to do with my boodle. And if I don't get to look at the plane before I take off in the morning, I'm thinking I might spend it on a life insurance policy.
Cannon drove off, leaving the ancient night watchman scratching his head in bewilderment. Taking the side road, he half-circled the field, and in the quiet of a clump of trees, switched off his car lights and made stealthily for the barbed wire fence.
The Sopwith Camel was standing in the middle of the field on a hastily prepared runway. The surrounding pasture was torn to shreds with shell fire, every inch pitted with gaping holes. It was a startling and blood-chilling sight, even though he knew it was only make-believe. The craters afforded him ample cover as he crossed quickly towards the plain, standing ghost-like under the light of the stars. And then Cannon saw something that stopped him short in his tracks.
Hey, what's that, a ghost? Come on, Cannon, what's got into you? That's a dame. A real live dame. Now, what's she doing here? She's coming this way. Oh, baby, you're in for one big shock. Hi. You, interested in aviation, man?
Who are you?
Cannon's the name, chief test pilot for the Sopwith Camel.
Oh.
Now, I heard tell that nobody was allowed on the field. Doesn't that include you?
Well, I hardly think so. I'm Valerie Thompson.
Is that supposed to mean something?
I'm the love interest in the picture.
Oh, you mean you're Valerie Thompson, the movie star?
That's right, and now we've met, I'll bid you good night.
No, not so fast. You still haven't told me what you were doing over there by that plane.
And by the same token, you haven't explained what you're doing creeping around the set in the middle of the night.
Set?
That's what it's called. This field is the setting for the final scene in the picture.
Oh, I get it, yeah. Tomorrow at 6 a.m. I have to fly that old crate off the ground and into the air, but I intend having a look at it first.
But you'll be given ample opportunity to look it over in the morning.
Could be. Only I'd like a private look-see. Well, now you know what I'm doing in Flanders Field, and maybe you'd answer my question.
I was a little worried about my movements tomorrow. I do a big scene near the Sopwith and wanted to have a private look at the terrain. So you see, we're both here for the same purpose.
You, rehearse in the pitch dark?
Inspecting a plane in the pitch dark?
Touché. Okay, Miss Thompson, I guess that evens out. You don't get to rehearse, and I don't get to look at that cockpit. Well, what say we celebrate nothing with a drink in the local?
I'm not in the habit of drinking with strangers, Mr. Cannon.
Oh, it's a very praiseworthy trait, but then we're not strangers, are we, Miss Thompson? I mean, we have a common purpose, don't we?
Are you holding a pistol to my head, Mr. Cannon?
No, but the cannon's mouth is dry.
All right. I'll have a drink with you. The locals probably won't mind the state we're in.
I don't get it.
Grey mud, Mr. Cannon. Look at your shoes. And mine. The shell fire has churned the field into grey mud. We're covered in it.
Oh, well, if anybody asks, we'll say we're a couple of turnip pickers on a spree.
I'm glad there's a sense of humor underneath that suspicious mind.
Suspicious? What?
You think I was doing something to that aeroplane?
Now, why would you do that? I mean, it's in your interest for the movie to go ahead as planned, or do I read it wrong?
You read it right, Mr. Cannon. So let's have that drink and forget all about meeting each other tonight. Yes?
I don't see why.
You know as well as I do that we're not allowed in this field. Now be a good boy and be a fellow conspirator. After all, it's in your interest for the movie to go ahead as planned. Or do I read it wrong?
Hey, you're quite a gal, Miss Thompson, but I got a feeling that I'll be sorry when this movie does end. Well, here's mud in your eye.
And mud in your boots. Cheers.
Cheers.
Keep your feet under the table, Mr. Cannon.
Turnip pickers are never embarrassed by their own feet.
The stage hands on the lot live in caravans on the other side of the field. They use the pub in the evening. In fact, 3/4 of the clientele here tonight are stage hands.
Well, so what?
So they know about the field at Potter's Bar being blown up by the artillery. They know about the grey mud. If they see your feet...
They'll know I've been walking in the field where I'm not supposed to be. Okay, I get the message, and my feet are hidden beneath this ancient table. Now, tell me about yourself.
Good heavens. The life history of an actress. Mr. Cannon, you're much too young.
Okay, then tell me what you're doing moseying around that kite.
I thought we had a gentleman's agreement.
Oh, now, how could we? You're no gentleman.
Very smart. But I told you what I was doing there. And you can believe it or not, as you wish.
Well, I'd never force a lady.
Good, then that's settled. You may order me another drink.
But I don't fall for that rehearsal jazz. And what's with you?
It's Sandler. He's just come in.
You mean that man mountain at the bar?
Yes. Haven't you met before?
No, my chief booked the job. Say, he looks like a tough cookie.
He is. He's an American, too, so you should get along with him. I just hope he doesn't see me, that's all. Do you mind if I move around to your side? If I sit with my back to the bar, he won't notice me.
Sure, come on, help yourself. But why the worry?
I just don't want him to see me here, that's all.
That's no answer.
You are persistent, aren't you? The fact is, I'm supposed to be in town. He rang me earlier and asked me to go to dinner with him. I made the excuse of a headache. He'll be justifiably angry if he sees me here with you, swilling cider.
He's got no comeback. I rang him in town at his suite. His secretary said he was working on the film script and wouldn't be free till after midnight. So you both got phony excuses.
Never mind. I'd rather he didn't know I was here.
Now, what do you suppose brought the great David Sandler out here at this time?
Oh, but I know. Perhaps he wanted to speak with the stagehands.
No, I got a feeling Mr. Sandler doesn't waste his time in idle chatter with the minions under his whip. In fact, the way he's looking into his glass of scotch, I'm sure of it. Say, what happens to him if the picture isn't finished on schedule?
Nothing.
Nothing?
He'll probably lose his bonus. It won't be his fault if the film's not finished in time.
Maybe.
There's no maybe about it.
That's what you say. But I've got other ideas.
Such as?
Such as how come he has his shoes covered in gray mud? Now, what do you think the film director was doing around that sup with Camel in the middle of the night?
To say that Cannon was disturbed by the appearance of David Sandler would be putting it mildly, but he comforted himself in the thought that the morning would give him ample opportunity to inspect the strange aircraft. And there was no reason why he should attempt to take off until he'd thoroughly examined and tested the plane. He left Valerie Thompson by her car and drove himself back to London. Nothing disturbs Cannon for very long, and he was soon in a dreamless sleep that readied him for the morning chore. At 6 a.m. sharp, he was on the field, and this time with a specially made Sopwith Camel. A mechanic was his only companion.
Bit of a breeze this morning, sir.
Well, just as well. This old crate will lift better in a breeze. Now you know why they call an aircraft a kite.
The first time you've flown one, sir?
Do I look like a First World War veteran?
It's only the fuselage that's old-fashioned, sir. The engine's a new Leighton. She has gypsy controls. She's got 5 times the power the original model had.
Okay, then let's have a look in the cockpit. Yeah, it's going to be cold up there in an open cockpit. Okay, friend, I will take a deco at the controls. Well, it's comfortable. You climb in the back.
All right, sir. You see, they're gypsy controls, mesh joystick and twin pedals.
Easy as wink. How come the others came to a sticky end?
That's something I'd like to know, sir. I was in charge of all 3 aircraft. I know they're airworthy. The only theory I can offer is that the motor's too strong for the fuselage, but, well, it's easy to counteract that if you fly slowly.
Did the others fly slowly?
Well, they seem to. All 3 went in a dive, just above the trees at the north end of the field.
Well, the controls seem to be okay. Hey, what's this over the stick?
Oh, I can't see from here, sir.
Well, come and take a look.
Huh?
It's a horseshoe.
So it is. Tied under the stick with yarn. I suppose it's been put there for good luck, sir.
By whom?
Oh, I don't know.
No wonder.
What's that, sir?
I just had an idea who might have put that horseshoe in the plane for good luck. Well, let's give her a run. Do I need a prop spin?
Not with this up. It says starter button's on the right.
Got it. Here goes. Like a bird. Okay, out you get. I'm going to taxi around the field, then do a couple of takeoffs and landings.
I'll stay in the back seat, sir.
Not in your life. Out you get.
But I'd like to try with you, sir.
Look, 3 of these babies have gone in already. I don't want you on my conscience if this is the 4th.
Well, I'll take that chance, sir. It's a mechanic's privilege.
Okay, but keep your head down. Controls okay. Shall I take her up?
Roger.
Okay, I'll turn her into the wind. She'll lift steeply, so keep your hat on. Okay, so far, Angel's 1. Now, see if she'll double.
The stick, I can't get it back. It's stuck.
Let me climb over and pull with you.
Mr. Cannon. What? It's the horseshoe, Oh, I got it.
Just made it. That was close.
Yeah, too close for comfort. I'm taking her in.
A lucky horseshoe. Somebody's got a great sense of humor.
How did it slide down there?
The yarn. There's acid on it, you see? The yarn's burned through. When the plane started to vibrate, the yarn snapped and the shoe slipped down to the bottom of the stick and jammed it against the floor when I tried to pull it back.
Do you think that's what happened to the others?
Could be. You say you've no idea who put this shoe in the cut?
No, sir. Are you sure it's acid?
Well, take a look for yourself. It didn't come there by accident. This is a modern engine, and no battery acid could escape.
I hope you're wrong, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, if you're not, it means that someone deliberately tried to sabotage the plane.
And that means the other three were murdered. That's quite a thought, isn't it?
Hi there!
That's the boss, Sandler.
Well, let him come, but don't say anything about the horseshoe. I'll ask him.
Roger.
Hi there. I watched from the camera shed. She seems to handle well. I'm David Sandler.
Hi. Cannon, Assignments Unlimited.
You seem to be able to handle it all right. You American?
Yep. Oh, by the way, thanks for the lucky horseshoe. That was a nice gesture.
A horseshoe?
Yeah, there was a lucky horseshoe taped to the stick with yarn.
That's so. Well, I didn't put it there. Say, you want some coffee? A whole cast is in the canteen. They'd like to meet you.
Oh, thanks. Say, there's one member of your cast I'd like very much to meet.
Who's that?
Valerie Thompson, your leading lady.
My leading lady? Is that some sort of joke, Buster?
It wasn't meant to be. I understood she had the major female role in the movie.
Mr. Cannon, I'm trying to beat a deadline. The reason is a rival film company is making a similar movie. They'd do anything to beat us to it. And you know who the leading lady is on that rival movie?
Are you kidding?
I am not. Our rival is Valerie Thompson.
The plot thickened. It certainly clouded Cannon's brain. Surely an established actress of the caliber of Valerie Thompson wouldn't murder three men in cold blood just to beat a deadline. Artists are more concerned with their individual performances and the purely business side of the show game. But she was on the field the night before. Then so was David Sandler. Would he sabotage his own picture? Oh, it didn't make sense. But Cannon resolved to see Valerie Thompson again that night. He telephoned and arranged a meeting. She was reluctant at first, but sensing the urgency in his voice, she agreed to meet him in Shepherd's Hotel in Shepherd's Market.
History repeats itself, Mr. Cannon.
Yeah. Nearly repeated itself this morning with disastrous consequences for me.
Really? Cheers.
Mud in your eye.
Mind telling me what happened?
That's the object of the exercise, Miss Thompson. I took the Sopwith off from Potter's Bar Field this morning with a mechanic aboard.
A mechanic?
Anything wrong with that?
No, but the last three planes crashed. This might have been the fourth.
It very nearly was.
Oh?
Some well-meaning person had attached a lucky horseshoe to the joystick. It slipped down along the stick as I dived and jammed against the floor. If I hadn't had that mechanic with me, I'd be part of the permanent Potter's Bar scenery now. He spotted it.
Who put the horseshoe there?
Now, that's what I'd like to know, Miss Thompson. You see, the yarn holding it had been treated with acid.
Charming. And you think I put it there?
Did you?
You've found out by now that I'm in the opposition picture. I lied to you. I was in the Potter's Bar Field last night, and it would be in my interest to delay Sandler's picture by every possible means.
Including mass murder?
What do you think?
I'm asking the questions.
You're a very determined man, Mr. Cannon. I didn't put the horseshoe in the plane. I didn't put anything in any plane. I was in the field last night for the same purpose as you, to try and find out what caused the accident.
Mm-hmm. And if I don't believe you?
You can go and join the title on my film screen.
What's that?
Hell's Angel.
I never thought to see you on this set, Valerie.
I know you didn't, David. And when you've heard what I have to say, you'll wish I'd never come. On the other hand, you may be grateful for a friendly warning.
Warning or a threat?
Whichever way you like it. It was a clever idea, putting a lucky horseshoe on the joystick of the plane.
What are you talking about?
You didn't mention it was to be a symbol of bad luck. But Cannon found it and removed it.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
But you forgot that flyers wear gloves.
Gloves?
Didn't you know? If you pick up something when wearing gloves, you don't disturb the fingerprints on that object. A horseshoe is clean and shiny when it's new. The one on the plane was made of silver. Even better.
Where's the horseshoe now?
With the police. They'll be here any minute to take a sample of your fingerprints, David.
Why are you telling me this?
Because you were once my husband, perhaps.
I'll leave.
There's no way. The roads will be watched.
There's still one trick up my sleeve, Miss Smarty. I can fly a plane.
What plane?
This one, the Sopwith. It's good enough to get me to the coast. Be seeing you, Valerie. Make my apologies for the fingerprints.
Hey, Miss Thompson, who's on that plane?
David Sandler, Mr. Cannon. I told him a lie, too. A whole pack of lies. And he fell for it. History repeated itself again, Mr. Cannon. I wonder who put the lucky horseshoe on the joystick this time.
Yes, it was David Sandler who sabotaged the planes on his own production. His bonus for finishing on time would have been a few $1,000s. But as major shareholder in the opposition company, he would have made millions if they beat him to it. Nobody knew of Sandler's interest in the other company, except his ex-wife Valerie. Hence the reason she guessed the culprit of the Sopwith Camel crashes. I hadn't seen Cannon for a few days. He offered to teach Valerie Thompson to fly, and she didn't seem the least reluctant.
Assignments Unlimited.
Good afternoon. Are you open for business after hours?
If you make an appointment, madam, yes.
6 o'clock this evening?
Certainly, madam. May I ask who's calling?
Mrs. Lavery Manners. I'm ringing from Queen's Gate, and I'd like to discuss a small business matter with you.
I'll make an appointment for you to see Mr. Mason, then.
I see only your phone number in the newspaper. What is your address?
33 Half Moon Street.
Mrs. Lavery Manners was the living embodiment of her name. Her etiquette was impeccable. She swept into my office like a galleon in full sail, and, divesting herself of a priceless mutation mink, proffered a hand weighed to the plimsoll line with diamonds. With a toss of her immaculate coiffure, she introduced herself in those dulcet tones reserved exclusively for the English aristocracy.
Good evening. I'm Mrs. Lavery Manners. You must be Mr. Mason.
I am. Do sit down, Mrs. Lavery Manners.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry to have come so late, but your girl was most courteous and said you'd wait for me. You see, it's a matter of some urgency.
Oh, we see clients at any time, madam. Now, what's your problem?
Well, it's my dog, Tootsie. You see, he's accustomed to a regular routine, and that entails a walk through the gardens every evening at 8 o'clock. Now, this has been the duty of my butler, but unfortunately, the poor fellow has met with a slight accident and is incapacitated. I have applied to the Labour Bureau for a new butler. Oh, they're so difficult to obtain these days. In the meantime, poor Tootsie is pining away, and I thought you might be in a position to supply me with a man to take him out on his leash. Just until my own butler is well again, or until I find a temporary replacement from the Bureau.
Oh, nothing could be easier, Mrs. Lavery Manners. What time would you want him to report and where?
Oh, thank you so much. You don't know what a relief it is to find someone reliable. My address is 17 Queen's Gate, South Kensington. You know, just near the Victoria and Albert Museum. I'm sure your man will find it easily enough.
Oh, he's well acquainted with London. He'll know where it is.
Thank you again, Mr. Mason. If he could report at 7:45, I'd like him to become acquainted with Tootsie before his first run.
I'll see he's there on time, madam.
And then I'll bid you good evening, Mr. Mason.
Good evening. A matter of some urgency. Whoever dreamed up that expression, it's a dog's life. Yes?
The lady's left, sir, but the perfume lingers on.
Why haven't you gone home, Miss Fairweather?
The lady said the matter was of some urgency, sir, so I thought I'd better stay around for a while.
Well, I'm touched by your loyalty, Miss Fairweather.
Well, I was waiting for Cannon anyway.
Cannon? Is he coming here?
Yes, sir. We're going to the Flicks.
You were going to the Flicks? Cannon has work to do, tonight.
Oh, it always happens when it's Gregory Peck.
17 Queensgate. Well, Cannon, you must admit it's rather nice.
Yeah. I wonder what the chief's charging for this dog walk.
Why don't you ask the wealthy widow?
Well, we don't even know if she is a widow.
Ring the bell, Cannon. A faint heart never won a fair French poodle.
Okay.
Yes?
Oh, evening, ma'am. My name's Cannon. I'm from Assignments Unlimited.
You've come to take out Tootsie?
Well, that's the general idea, ma'am, yes.
Good. The tradesman's entrance is right on the corner. If you go round to the kitchen, I'll fetch the dog and his lead.
Well, I'll be doggone.
Cannon, you rough old proletarian. Head for the kitchen. Who knows? The lady might even give you a cup of tea.
Yeah, out of a tin mug.
Oh, cheer up, Cannon. It's a lovely night under the stars and really quite romantic in the gardens.
Yeah, surrounded by an iron fence 10 feet high. I feel like I was in jail. Come to think of it, I'd rather be in jail than at the beck and call of an old pussyfoot like this one.
Here's the turning. And there's a number on the back of the house, too.
Well, that must be him. Yeah, you ring this time.
Right. Come in. Come in. Don't mind Tootsie. He's quite harmless.
Is that Tootsie?
Yes. You're to take him twice round the park. He needs plenty of exercise.
But that's no poodle.
I didn't say Tootsie was a poodle. A greyhound.
Greyhound? That monster's pitch black. Sorry. It's just a manner of speaking, you know.
Who's this with you?
Oh, Miss Fairweather, the switchboard girl. She's keeping me company.
I asked for only one person.
So, you got two.
Oh, well, I'll get the lead. If you'll excuse me.
Crummy joint, this. All tinsel and glitter in front and a chuck wagon of a kitchen in the back. The old girl sure carries her class distinction to giddy heights.
Cannon, come and look here.
What is it?
Look down the passage. The place is unfurnished.
Well, maybe she just moved in.
Well, that's unlikely.
Can you think of a better explanation?
Shh, she's coming back. Here we are, the lead and collar. Come, Tootsie. There's a good boy. That's right. Now, Mr. Cannon, twice round the park, and then bring him back to the back door again. That's all, I think.
Okay, ma'am.
Twice round this place. Well, that puts the kibosh on Gregory Peck. Oh, it'll take ages.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could tie him to a tree and look at the stars.
Duty is duty, Cannon. We walk him for an hour, just like the lady said.
Okay. Say, tell you what. Let's see if we can get him to start up a rabbit, sort of pass the time.
If you let go of that lead, you might lose him, and then the fat will be in the fire.
Taking the dog for a walk, mate?
No, we're off to the preacher for a special license.
Oh, funny, eh? Give me the lead and I'll walk him for you.
Stranger, look, I don't know who you are, but take a powder, huh?
Know what this is?
Sure. It's a razor. You better stand closer to it next time you shave.
Matey, I'm not playing games. Now, you be a good boy and take your girlfriend off into the park and hand me the dog.
Look, beat it, Buster.
All right. Tell you, it's a bad...
You know something, baby? He was serious. Look, bring him round. I'd like to have a cozy fireside chat with him.
Oh, the dog. You let him go.
Well, what else could I do? That guy on the grass is a qualified barber. Come on, let's get after the dog. Come on.
Oh, it's no use.
No, I guess not. Whoever outran a greyhound anyway. Oh, boy, what a start to an assignment. Come on, let's get back to the mug with carving ways.
Oh, well, What can we tell the lady at number 17?
Well, some hoodlum needed her greyhound. That canine cat means everything to her. She snuggles it to her bosom nights and coos nursery rhymes to put it to sleep.
Cannon, the man you put to sleep has gone.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, well, just my luck. It's all this class distinction that disturbs my sense of justice. I should have hit him with a rock. Well, I guess there's no use in delaying things. Come on, let's get back. Ring the kitchen doorbell, Miss Fairweather.
Right.
Say, how many dogs has the old girl got? Ring again.
What's the matter with it?
Try the door.
It's locked.
Let me see.
But Cannon, she might just have gone out or something. If you break in, we can get into all sorts of trouble.
Look, a guy tries to slice me with a razor. We lost the dog. There's another one howling its head off inside. How much trouble can you have in one night? I've got a bunch of keys here that'll open this door. And if the old girl returns while we're inside, we'll say we left it open. There.
Cannon, I'm scared.
That's okay. I got my pocket flashlight. Say, the whole joint's in darkness. The old doll must have gone out. Yeah, like you said, the place is unfurnished. What say we mosey around some?
It's upstairs.
Come on.
Right.
Okay, fella. Take it easy. Take it easy. Say, this looks like a printing shop.
In Queensgate.
Look, draw the curtains, baby. I want to put the lights on, huh? Okay.
Cannon, in the corner. Is he dead?
Yeah. It's like a dodo.
What? How did it happen?
And I guess I'd say a razor. No, don't come any nearer, baby. It's not very pretty.
The dog. It's Tootsie.
Tootsie? That's impossible.
Well, look for yourself.
No, it's a canine double. It can't be Tootsie. That dog was shut in this room. The windows are shut. It's another dog.
It is exactly the same as Tootsie.
Look, dogs don't spirit themselves through brick walls, and they never voluntarily closet themselves with a corpse. Say, did you notice a phone in the hall?
No, I didn't.
Hey, wait a minute. Somebody's arriving. Put the light out. Quick.
Where can we go?
In that cupboard. Now, come on. Don't make a noise. Shh.
All right, Tootsie. All right. Come in, Levita.
Are you sure the dog don't bite?
Tootsie. He's as tame as a kitten. Don't be silly. There's our friend in the corner.
Someone make a bad mess of him. Looks like a razor.
It was.
How it happened?
I don't know. He staggered back here from the park. He was taking the dog for a walk, and someone attacked him. I did what I could, but he was too far gone.
Okay, I take him. You want for nobody to see him again?
Yes.
I make for him a nice pair of concrete boots. This cost you a plenty.
I'll pay.
Now, before I do the job.
How much?
2,000.
1,000 now, and the other when you've done the job.
Okay. You get this mess cleaned up pronto.
I will. Oh. Poor Tootsie. Are you frightened here all alone? I don't remember drawing curtains. I wonder if... Oh.
Come on, let's get out of here, baby.
How?
Well, she's on the phone. There's ivy on the wall outside. Do you think I can climb down?
I'll try.
Good girl. Now come on over to the window.
Right.
Come on.
Quiet.
Okay, out you go. Go on. I'm right behind you. Now make sure you got a good handhold. Okay? I'll close the window. Yeah. Oh, made it. Hey, Hey, you're a great burglar, Cat.
Don't you mean a cat burglar? Tootsie.
Yeah, the right Tootsie.
Well.
He's still got his collar and lead on. Come here, boy. Come on. Come here. Got him. Ah, first lucky break this evening.
Cannon, having made a mental note never to accept a job as butler to anyone, began to retrace his steps to the office, with the intention of telephoning me at the club. He didn't get that far. A newsboy caught his attention on the corner at Knightsbridge.
Evening Standard, all the dog fixtures. Evening Standard, all the dog fixtures. Paper, Gov?
Yeah, here.
Thanks, Gov.
Right.
Evening Standard, all the dog fixtures. Evening Standard, all the dog fixtures.
Cannon, what are you looking for?
Just a hunch. Hang on. Yeah, here we are. Third race at Wembley.
Dogs?
Yeah, that black greyhound races for his living.
Which one?
Now, that's quite a point. Anyway, the name's the same. Look, third race. Tootsie, owner, Mrs. Laborie Manners. Honey, do you know how these dogs race? You ever been to the dogs?
Not yet. But I have a funny feeling that if you don't report that dead butler, I'll soon be going to the dogs. And I mean that strictly metaphorically.
No, wait a minute. Just let me read what it says here. The third race being over a longer distance should prove too much for the black greyhound Tootsie. He has shown a great turn of speed over a sprint and was winner last time out in Manchester.
Who's Canine?
Racing tipster. Canine says that the miller's son should win this race, and he's expected to show firm favorite on the tote when the betting opens. There, now what do you think of that?
Well, I might think all sorts of things, if you translated it for me.
Well, it's like this. You see, tomorrow's Saturday, and the big race meeting at Wembley. There are 6 races set for tomorrow, and there are 6 different dogs in each race. The races themselves are run over different distances. Some dogs run well in a short sprint, and others do better over a longer course because they have greater stamina. Now, at the dog track, they have a totalizator board. You can bet in 2-shilling pieces or in pound notes, and every time somebody places a bet, the amount of money shows on the tote board. The odds are calculated by the amount of money placed on each dog.
Poor little thing.
No, they love it. In addition to the tote, there are bookies who make their own odds.
I don't see what all this has to do with the dead butler.
Well, neither do I yet. But I want for you and me to be at that dog track tomorrow night and see how well Tootsie runs.
You've forgotten one thing, Cannon. You have to take a dog round the park twice, starting at 8 o'clock. Well, you'll never get to the dog track on time.
Yeah, but this is where the conspiracy begins. If Tootsie is running in the race, then he can't be walked round the park, can he? Not even a dog can be in 2 places at once.
But there are more than one Tootsies. In fact, there are 2. We saw them.
Correct, my beautiful Belle. But Mrs. Laborie Manners doesn't know that we know. And what's more, she mightn't want us to know.
Why?
If I knew the answer to that one, I wouldn't be standing on Knightsbridge Corner looking for a coin for the telephone booth.
Well, you're going to phone her?
Well, why not? If she says there's more than one Tootsie, then we'll go to the office and ring up the chief. But if she says what I think she'll say, then we keep Mum and go to the dogs tomorrow in time for the third race, okay?
Well, what about tonight?
Well, I've got a frozen pie in my apartment, and you're just the doll to thaw it out. Come on. You in? That's it. Now, hang on. I've got a phone number somewhere in my diary here. Now, you keep very quiet while I'm talking.
Oh, very well.
There we are. 5, 3, 4, 2, 3.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Laborie Manners.
Speaking.
Oh, hello, ma'am. Sorry to disturb you so late. This is Ken.
Who?
Ken, Assignments Unlimited. You know the guy who took your dog Tootsie for a walk tonight?
Oh, yes. What can I do for you, Mr. Cannon?
Well, the fact is, ma'am, I bought the Standard just now on the way home, and, well, I see in the sports page that your dog Tootsie is racing at Wembley tomorrow night.
Oh, he has little or no chance. The dog's a sprinter.
Yeah, well, that's not why I rang, ma'am. You see, my old and infirm aunt is coming down from Greenock tomorrow, and I thought if the dog is racing, then, well, you won't need me to take him for an exercise around the park. In which case, I could go to the station and meet the old lady. Hello, are you still there?
Yes. Very well, Mr. Cannon. You may have tomorrow off. But see to it that you're here on Sunday.
On time like a Rolls-Royce watch, ma'am.
Good night, Mr. Cannon.
Good night, ma'am. You catching all that?
Every word. But, Cannon, if only one dog is at the racetrack, who will take the other one for a walk?
Baby, I'm more interested in finding out who's being taken for a ride.
Oh, it's exciting, Cannon. Oh, we must come to the dogs again.
Yep, it's great fun if you just watch it.
Surely a mild flutter can't do any harm.
A mild flutter, no. When the gambling's big time, it gets a bit rough.
Oh.
Well, here come the dogs for the third race. Just watch them as the attendants walk them round.
Look, there's Tootsie.
Yeah, but which one?
Well, I can't tell, but he doesn't look as though he hasn't got a chance.
Well, Mrs. Labory Manners was adamant that he couldn't win.
Oh, where are you going?
To the bookie. The betting opens now, and my guess is that the odds on Tootsie are going to drop suddenly and dramatically.
You're going to have a bet. But you said that wasn't wise.
No, I don't consider this to be a wager, baby. I figure this is a cast-iron certainty.
Oh, well, the tote's over there.
Yeah, I know, but I'm betting with a bookie. Tootsie is a rank outsider. With a bookie, I'll get 25 to 1.
Oh, well, I want to bet 2 shillings.
Well, now, come on, now make it a quid, huh?
I've only got 10 bob.
Okay, I'll loan you the rest. You tap that guy on the shoulder, he'll do.
Excuse me?
Yes, miss? Well, what is it? Want a bet or don't you?
Cannon.
Good eyes.
What's with you, mate?
Nothing. Tootsie, 25 to 1, I see.
That's right. Here, haven't I seen you somewhere before, mate?
Sure, you're my favorite bookie. Give me 50 to 2, will you?
50 to 2, Tootsie. Oh, there you are.
Thanks. Come on, baby, let's get over to the cage.
Cannon, that's the man who attacked you in the park.
I know.
Well, aren't you going to do anything about it?
Not right now. But he's a bookie, and that begins to add up. Now, look, just stand here and watch the line of bookies. In a minute, you'll see 10 different guys walk up to the 10 different bookies and each place a bet at the same time. And before any bookie can lower his odds on Tootsie, there'll be a fortune bet on the dog. There, you see? There they go.
Oh.
Now I know why Mrs. Labory Manners lives in Queensgate with no furniture.
Well, tell me.
All in good time. There, the dogs are in the traps and ready to go. I'll only be absolutely certain after the race.
Race number 3, the third race on the card. The dogs are in the traps, and here are the numbers. Number 1, Gypsy Boy. Number 2, The Shadow. 3, The Miller's Son. 4, Rovery. Trap 5, Tootsie. And 6, Scarfell. The mechanical hare has started. It's passing the traps, and the traps are up. It's number 1 away fast on the inside, followed by 3, 4, 2, 6, and 5. Now it's 6 taking over and 5 coming up as they race into the turn. 3 dropping back there, but 5 still going well. 1 has dropped back now, and it's number 6 from 5 by Shorthead with 4, 2, 3 in that order. Number 1 right at the back there. Now it's number 3 picking up with a great burst of speed. Number 3 running the best race. 3 going up through the pack and going well. But now it's 5. 5 always in the race, but now making the pace. 5 it is. 5 going ahead of run, and 5 is going to win easily. 5 running out an easy winner, yes. Number 5 it is, followed by 3, 6, and others also ran. The winner of race number 3, number 5, Tootsie. Number 5, Tootsie.
Oh, we won, Cannon. £25. Well, just think of it. £25 each. Oh.
Tote payout on number 5, 60 shillings. The tote payout on number 5 in the third race, 60 shillings.
You hear that? 60 shillings for each 2 shillings or a multiple of 2 shillings bet on the dog. In other words, 30 to 1. It was a complete outsider and nobody even gave it a chance. Now, look at the bookies' boards before they rub them off.
6 to 4 on.
That means you have to put £6 on to win 4. But not the 10 men who bet just before the race. You're a clever girl, Mrs. Labory Manners.
Mrs. Labory Manners had hit upon a certain way to outwit the strict supervision of the dog tracks. She had bred and trained a series of greyhounds, all jet black in colour. They were trained to run over different distances, and she rang the changes with them racing what the acceptors thought was a sprinter over a long distance, and vice versa. The odds on her dogs were therefore always high, and her gang of criminal punters moved in on the bookies when she gauged the time to be ripe. The house in Queensgate was the perfect cover, and provided her with a hideaway for the dogs and a print shop in which she could forge the dogs' papers that showed their physical statistics as well as their colour. Thus it was that she had a whole litter of dogs registered under one name. The bookie Sammy suspected the truth, but thought Mrs. Laybury Manor's butler was the culprit, and so the unfortunate butler was cut to pieces with a razor. Sammy paid the extreme penalty, and at the moment Mrs. Laybury Manners is safely inside an institution, where she has something in common with her erstwhile litter. You see, these days she too is known only by her number.
What time is it?
10:30 and a beautiful morning.
The morning is never beautiful, Mortimer. For lovers and poets, but never for thespians. The night is for actors.
Well, stop acting for a minute and give me your undivided attention.
Well, it must be serious if you drag me out of bed at 10 o'clock in the morning.
It is. An hour ago I had a deputation from the stage hands. They won't be working tonight.
Oh, not a strike. Not those layabouts.
Call it what you will, but unless I can find 2 good men to move the truck on stage for the second act, we'll have to put up the notices.
Close the show because of a couple of stagehands? What nonsense. Assignments Unlimited will supply you with a couple of hands.
Assignments Unlimited? What's that?
It's a firm specializing in offbeat jobs. Go and see them. Their offices are in the West End, 33 Half Moon Street.
Requiem for a Rat.
Looking for space to hang and dry your washing? Washline distributors have the solution. Their rotating and fold-down wash lines take up the smallest spaces. Ideal for townhouses, simplexes and balconies at affordable prices. Galvanized or powder-coated and available in 5 different colors. For 24-hour delivery, installation, reliable and friendly service, phone Washline Distributors on 011 792 2486. That's 011 792 2486. Wash lines for every space and need.
Vir die eerste keer kan die ANC in verskeie provinsies gewen word. Ek is Pieter Mulder, leier van die VF+. Geen party kan alleen die ANC wen nie. 'n Koalisie van partye, waarvan die VF+ deel is, kan dit wel doen. As jy vir die VF+ stem, onderneem ons om daardie sake wat vir jou belangrik is, in so 'n koalisie in te dra en daarvoor te veg. Stem vir die party wat nie net praat nie, maar ook doen. Stem hierdie verkiesing, beslis VF+.
Some things in life are obvious and easy. If you have a business providing a good service or selling a product, you need to let people know. But how do you do that? Easy. Just tell them here on springbokradio.com. Internet radio is about talking to people in their own homes. Your message becomes part of the sound they've chosen to listen to. To find out more about advertising on springbokradio.com, contact Dave Dupria on Johannesburg 011 678 5176 or for outside South Africa 2711 678 5176 or email Dave at springbokradio.com.
I had laboured under the misapprehension that Cannon's taste in theatre was restricted to the occasional visit to the windmill or those gloomy speakeasies in Soho. I was therefore rather surprised when I learned that he'd seen the sophisticated play Chanson the Abbé, currently playing at His Majesty's in the Haymarket. I discovered this cultured side to the Cannon character when a flowery and flamboyant gentleman called at my office to recruit a couple of stagehands for the play. We were particularly busy at the time, and I was able to offer the services of only one man, to wit, Cannon. But he, having seen the play, knew roughly what was required, and was able to recruit the second helper from among the twilight set, who live on the fringe of society and the edge of the law. His theatrical employer didn't seem to mind, and so I decided to give Cannon his head and hope for the best.
Hello, Guppy.
Hello.
Haven't seen you standing on this corner for a long time.
Been doing a two-stretch on the moor.
When'd you get out?
Last week.
You doing anything special?
In a manner of speaking.
But you're not speaking.
As a matter of fact, I'm carrying a razor for Jack Dot.
How's business?
Sharp.
You want a night's work tonight? On the level.
What's in it?
£3.
Doing what?
Stagehand over at His Majesty's. I'll be with you. Backstage at 7:30 if you can get away.
Hold on. As a matter of fact, things are quiet on the row. I've heard there's a lot of trouble between Billy Mills' mob and Italian Henry.
So the Dot mob sit on the sidelines, huh?
See you there at 7:30. £4, did you say?
3.
Over there. I could do with £3.10.
Okay, tell them at the stage door you'll be engaged by Mr. Mortimer Carstairs, and don't forget, otherwise they may not let you in.
Not let me in. That's a carve-up.
Oh, yeah, and leave your razor at home.
I might want it to pick me teeth.
Well, just so long as you don't pick a fight. See you, Guppy. 7:30 at the stage door.
I want to see a geezer called Carstairs, Grandad.
Someone want me? Oh, good evening. Who are you?
The new stagehand.
You?
What's wrong with me?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Cannon?
Coming. Yeah, what is it, Mr. Carstairs? Oh, Guppy, you made it. Good boy. This is the fellow who's going to help with the truck. Call him Guppy.
Guppy? What does he do in his spare time?
Well, you might say he's a sort of a trimmer.
Oh, seaman, eh? Well, all right. Get in the wings. I'd just like to see you move that truck on once.
Okay. Come on, Guppy. Lend a hand, huh? I'll let the brake off. That runs easily.
There's a stop on the stage so that it can't run too far. What about your friend?
Guppy? Oh, yeah. Look, Guppy, you're supposed to help me push it.
You never said.
If all stagehands were as strong as you, Mr. Cannon, we could operate on half the personnel.
No, that'd be bad for the Trade Union Council. Okay, Guppy, now push it back again.
Oh, it's a jinx. It's a jinx, I tell you, Mortimer.
Oh, what's happened now?
That nitwit of a bit player, Sammy North. He just telephoned to say he's not feeling well and can't make it tonight. At the last minute. Why didn't you ring earlier, I said to him.
All right, Jason. It's not a disaster. He only comes on in the first act to say one line. Any one of the spare stagehands can do it.
What spare stagehands?
Oh, yes, I forgot.
Yes, the curtain goes up in 10 minutes. If you have any bright ideas, they'd better twinkle fast.
Cannon.
What?
Mr. Cannon?
Yeah?
Look, I wonder if you could help us out. In the first act, a sort of butler to the abbot walks on with a tray. It's one of the men the abbot's rehabilitated, a gross, coarse sort of man who speaks with a rough accent. Now, all he has to do is walk on with the tray, put it down, and say to the abbot, "It's a cloudy day, abbot, but the birds is singing." Yes. Then he sits in a chair and goes to sleep. He stays there until the end of the first act. It's really quite easy.
Well, sure, if you think I look that rough.
Although Jason will help you with your makeup.
And with his accent.
Accent?
Of course, the man must be ugly and speak with a coarse accent. It sets the mood of the play. Illustrates what sort of man the abbot is trying to reclaim into society.
Yeah, well, I've seen the play.
Well, then you'll know what I mean.
Guppy can lift anything back here.
I never lift nothing when I'm on an honest job.
No, that's not what he meant, Guppy.
Guppy? Yes, Guppy, you're the answer to a maiden's prayer.
Are you trying to be funny, mate?
No, of course not.
Better watch it, Charlie. I don't old with geezers who use lipstick.
Now, take it easy, Guppy, because everybody who works on stage uses makeup.
You see what I'm thinking, Mortimer?
Yes, Guppy looks the part and speaks the part. In fact, he's perfect, even better than Sammy North. Look, Guppy, all you have to do is to walk on when I tell you. Jason McIver here will be sitting in that chair, see? Now, you carry him a drink on a tray.
Just like a waiter in a pub.
Yes, you just put it down and you say...
It's a clergy day, Abbott, but the birds is singing. I heard you the first time. I got cloth ears, you know.
Oh, fabulous. Then you'll do it, Guppy?
What's in it?
An extra £2.
Oh, I could do with an extra £3.
5 minutes. There's just time to make him up. Come on, Guppy.
Where to?
My dressing room. I've got to make you up.
Not on your Nelly, mate. You ain't putting no powder and scent on me.
Oh, can you help, Mr. Cannon?
Now, look, Guppy, I wouldn't give you a wrong steer, now, would I?
No.
Well, if you go on stage, you have to be made up. You can wash it off again afterwards. There's nothing sissy about it. From out front, it looks better, that's all. It makes you look, makes you look more manly. Now, be a good fellow and go with Mr. Jason McIver here, huh?
All right, I'll do it if you say so, Cannon.
Good, Shell. It's all for art, Guppy.
No, it ain't. It's for Cannon. I wouldn't do it for nobody else, and that's a fact. And you better watch it, mate. When we're in that dressing room, I've got my protector here.
What's that?
A razor.
Oh, you mustn't shave, Guppy. Oh, no. You're just right as you are.
Hey? Did you hear that, Cannon? This bloke's dead ignorant. You know that, mate? You're dead ignorant.
Dead ignorant. 2 words that might have constituted Goppy's epitaph. The play began to a packed audience, eager for the drama and slightly annoyed at a tea girl who accidentally dropped her tray full of empty cups at the beginning of the first act.
A malcontent is made, not born, Sir Peter. All men are born innocent. It's environment that sows the seeds of evil.
My dear Abbot, with respect for your cloth, I humbly disagree. More evil is among the rich than the poor.
Not if the spirit is enriched, Sir Peter. The humblest man can store a treasure in his heart. Ah, yes, my man Grunter.
It's a cloudy day, Abbot, but the birds is singing.
Thank you, Grunter. Grunter's a case in point, sir.
Good heavens, Abbot, the man's gone to sleep on the couch.
Yes, he always does. A faithful retainer, Grunter. And yet, if you'll listen to his history and background...
And the audience, forgetting the untimely interruption of the tea tray, settled back to enjoy the acting skills of Mortimer Carstairs and Jason McIver as they unfolded the threads of their play with the inert figure of Goppy as their backdrop. The first act ended to tumultuous applause as the curtains closed, screening the feverish activity of the stagehands preparing the set for Act 2.
Okay, get that furniture out. Goppy! Hey, Goppy, what's with him?
He's played the part too well. He's fallen fast asleep.
Come on, Goppy, wake up, fella. You're a stagehand again. Goppy, come on, your acting days are over. You've got to...
Hurry, Cannon, will you? It's time for the truck.
Hold it. Just a minute, hold everything.
What do you see you doing, Cannon?
Look.
Good grief. Blood.
He's dead.
Dead? But how?
A bullet? Right through the heart.
Oh, hello, Mortimer. Did they manage to give everyone their money back without any trouble?
Not much trouble, anyway. Have the police gone?
Yes.
The body?
Yes, gone too.
Oh.
Oh, it's fantastic. It just doesn't make sense. Why?
He was a bad egg. It could have been anyone in the underworld.
Wrong.
What's that?
I said wrong. He wasn't a bad egg.
But you said yourself that he'd joined a razor gang, that he'd just come down from Dartmoor prison.
Goppy wasn't bad in that sense, and he never used a razor on anybody. That was just big talk. The girl who dropped the tea tray. Know where she can be found?
Tea tray?
You heard the crash in the first act before Goppy went to sleep on the couch.
Oh, yes. Why do you want to know, Cannon?
Well, whoever fired the shot that killed Goppy did it from the back of the gallery. He timed the shot to coincide with the crash of that tray. Therefore, the girl was an accomplice. She dropped the tray, the assassin pulled the trigger, and nobody was any the wiser until the end of the first act, because Goppy was sleeping on the couch.
He's right, Jason.
I know, but that's just it. The murder was premeditated. So Goppy must have had an enemy you don't know about.
Goppy was shot by accident.
What? You don't mean they were after me?
No, I don't. Goppy was never meant to go on stage. Nobody could have known he'd be on stage, or that he was even at the theater until he walked out there. So it couldn't have been premeditated for Goppy.
Well, who then?
Sammy North. The man who rang just before the show to say he couldn't make it.
Sammy North?
Yeah. And now you know why he couldn't make it. Somebody must have tipped him off. Sammy knew the chips were down, so he rang to say he couldn't come. We rang the changes with Goppy and sent him out there to his certain death.
But we can't be blamed. We couldn't possibly have known.
No, take it easy, Mr. McIver. Nobody's blaming you. But I aim to find Sammy North. And when I do, he'll talk.
Enjoy the best of both worlds. Only 2 hours drive from Johannesburg and Pretoria and half an hour by air. The magnificent Sundown Ranch Hotel and Lion Park, just 10 kilometers from the Pilanesberg Game Reserve and Sun City Resort. It offers an exciting escape from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Reasonable rates, excellent food, friendly service and comfortable air-conditioned rooms. It will ensure a memorable stay. Activities include tennis, squash, horse riding, the Lion Park, and much, much more. Call now to make your reservation on 014-573-1000. That's 014-573-1000, or visit their website at www.restinations.co.za/Sundown Ranch. The Sundown Ranch Hotel and Lion Park. 2 worlds in one.
Ek is so beïndruk met die Vryheidsfront Plus die afgelope 5 jaar. Het jy agtergekom hoe hulle op verskillende vlakke vir ons morele en Christelike waardes geveg het? Wat my opgeval het is dat hulle nie skroom om die regering aan te vat oor korrupsie, onbillikheid en onregverdige regstellende aksie nie. Dit is juis die VF+ wat suksesvol geveg het vir die stemreg van duisende Suid-Afrikaners in die buiteland. Stem hierdie keer beslis Vryheidsfront Plus. Hulle praat nie net nie, hulle doen ook en maak regtig 'n verskil.
Splish, splash, the water hog, splashing all day long. Using up the water, it's too late when it's gone. If you want to help, then this is what to do. Make sure the water hog is never, never you. Just make sure the water hog is never, ever you.
I don't want to be disrespectful about your police force, but this time a murder will wind up in the unsolved file if I don't do something about it.
Well, how can you be so sure?
Because Guppy had a record. I know he was shot by accident, but the cops won't figure that way. Guppy was mixed up with Jack Dutt, and that's some tough boy. He boasted that he was carrying a razor for the gang. Now, that's hooey, but the cops won't figure it like that. They'll say he was gunned down by a rival gang, assassin or assassins unknown. Who cares anyway what happens to a bum with a record?
If you're convinced, then there's nothing I can say, is there? What will you do?
Well, I'll mosey around and see what I can find out. Millie's joint in Soho to start with.
What about this man, Sammy North?
I found his digs. The landlady said he wasn't in, and she didn't know when to expect him. Said I might find him at the theater.
But I thought he rang to say he was sick.
He was sick, all right, with fear. But he wasn't bedridden. And that proves my theory, anyway. I checked on the doll who dropped that tray. She left with her bag packed this morning and left no forwarding address.
So you're up against a brick wall before you start?
Not quite. When I sounded Guppy out on this job, he said something. He said there was bad feeling between Billy Mills' mob and Italian Henry. Now, the latter gentleman uses Millie's place in Soho. It's just a hunch and it's nothing, but it's worth a try. What's this, a gun?
I have a feeling, Cameron, that these gentlemen don't fight with powder puffs.
Okay. What's the other gun for?
Me?
You?
I've never met anyone with a name like Italian Henry. He sounds like a very colourful chap.
Hey, now, wait a minute, Chief. This is my fight.
Mine, too. For a brief few hours, Guppy was on the payroll of Assignments Unlimited. I'm as anxious as you are to avenge his death.
But, Chief, you don't...
And I can be every bit as stubborn as you can, Cannon, so you might as well save your breath.
Okay, Chief. That's the way you want it. Come on, let's go slumming.
Slumming, did you say, Cameron? Well, this place looks rather high class.
Yeah, especially the check. And now, Chief, that's Italian Henry on the dance floor with the broad and green. Now, we sit here until he's finished his dance and then call him over.
Well, how do you know where he'll sit?
Because he always takes this next table in the corner. In his profession, it's safer to sit with your back to the wall and with a clear view of the door. And Millie always vets the customers who sit at this table.
Well, she obviously knows you well.
Obviously. Now, you see that guy against the bar with the tin ears and knife scar? Well, that's Italian Henry's hatchet man. The suit comes from Savile Row, and the bad fit is on account of what he carries under his armpit. Expensive tailors won't fit on a suit for a guy carrying artillery.
It's a world of its own.
The underworld. And some of these jerks are on speaking terms with the aristocracy. Yeah, a break for the band and a break for me. I hope. Here he comes. Now, don't worry about him. His manners are perfect. He'd slit your throat for a $5, but he'd say he was sorry he was doing it.
You dance divinely, carissima. Such a talent should be rewarded with champagne. The real stuff, huh? Not for you, the cheap cider and the soda water.
Hi, Italian.
Who's that?
Cannon. Remember me? I pulled you out of that car on the Kingston bypass when you had that, accident.
Cannon, yes, of course, I remember. Did I thank you for that?
Profusely. Can I talk to you for a minute?
As you see, I am otherwise engaged. But for an old friend, I can always spare a few moments, huh? Stay at the table, Captain. I shall just be a moment. I don't think I've had the pleasure of...
Oh, this is Mr. Mason, Aubrey Mason, my boss.
Aye?
How do you do, sir?
I do all right. So, what is it, Canon?
A man was shot dead tonight in His Majesty's Theatre.
That's right. I know.
No. But the audience wasn't told, and nobody will know until the morning papers are out.
Except the people who make the morning papers, huh?
Oh, I see.
I have friends everywhere, Mr. Cannon. Even on the Kingston bypass.
Tell me, have you got a friend who told you did it?
Possibly.
You care to let me in on a secret?
Now look, Mr. Cannon. There are things that are maybe left better alone, huh, Capito? I didn't kill him. None of my boys killed him. But that was just a coincidence. I had one of the boys waiting outside the theater for the end of the performance. I had the boys on the lookout at the railway stations. I wanted to kill him, Mr. Cannon. But somebody did it for me. So I called the boys back and we celebrated Millie's, huh? Somebody did my dirty work for me. I don't know who. But if it was you, I'll buy you a bottle of champagne, huh?
No, it wasn't me.
All right. Then there's no more to say, is there, Mr. Cannon?
Italian, do you know the name of the guy who got shot?
Good night, Mr. Cannon. Good night.
Why did you ask him that?
Well, maybe he doesn't know it was the wrong guy.
But he said his informant was a member of the press.
Look, the police don't always release the name before identification.
He has informers everywhere. And if it was Gopi he was after, he may have had him followed to the theatre.
Nobody could have known it was Gopi on stage. Of that I'm certain.
Mr. Cannon? I'm glad I found you here. Oh, Mr. Mason.
Hello, Mr. Carstairs.
I didn't expect to find you here.
Oh, I'm a frequent visitor. Nightclubs fascinate me. Do sit down.
Thanks. I traced you through your switchboard girl. Most intelligent girl. She gave me a list of places you might be at, and this was the first one.
All right, shoot. What's new?
Well, after you'd gone, I made a few inquiries among the cast. They'd gone to the captain's cabin for a snifter. Can't say I blame them. I was a bit shaken myself. Anyway, I found out something that may be important, so I thought I'd try and trace you and tell you.
All right, I'm all ears.
That girl who dropped the tray, her name is Betty Fuller, and she's Sammy North's girlfriend. Oh, it isn't important?
Carstairs, old boy, it's more than important, it's vital.
Why, Cannon?
Before I answer that, I want a word with Billy Mills, the rival gang leader.
Well, why Billy Mills?
Because Italian Henry won't talk anymore. He's got impeccable manners, but a very short temper.
Is he here, this Billy Mills?
You won't find one of his mob within a mile of here. There's a gang war in progress. He'll be on the other side of town at Tubby Dino's. You better go home, Mr. Carstairs.
Oh, not on your life. I've got the bit between the teeth.
For one night I work in the theater, and now everybody wants to be on the act. Okay, but it's on your own head.
Dino's, eh? That's a nice restaurant.
You know, these boys don't play for chicken feed. Well, sit down, fellas. That's Billy in the corner. I'll go over and talk to him. Hi, Billy. The name's Cannon. I wanted some information on a guy called Sammy North.
Beat it.
It's important, Billy. I gotta know.
Beat it.
Okay.
Well?
He wouldn't commit himself.
Well, what do we do now?
There's nothing we can do, is there? I can't make him talk, so Sammy North gets clear away.
You're looking for Sammy North, mate?
Yeah. You know where I can find him?
Try the mortuary. I've heard they're keeping him on ice.
I got news for you, my friend. Sammy North is very much alive.
Don't argue with me, boy. It ain't Alfie.
You, one of the Mills mob?
Don't get insulting, neither.
That's all right. I only asked a civil question.
Look, when you talk to Jack Dot, you make it very civil.
Did you say Jack Dot?
That's right, boy. And when I say Sammy North's in a drawer in the morgue, that's where he is.
Well, this is my lucky day.
What's with you?
Jack, did you know a guy called Gopi?
Yeah, but why the past tense?
Because it's Gopi who's in that drawer.
What are you, a comedian?
It wasn't Sammy North who was killed in the theater tonight. It was Gopi. He was shot by accident. Well, maybe not by accident either. But it was Gopi who copped it, not Sammy.
Yeah, tell me more, friend.
Before I do, this is Mona McCarstairs who plays Sir Peter in the play. I was working backstage. Guppy was helping me. He was a friend of mine.
Guppy? Does Billy Mills know about this?
No, he wouldn't speak to me.
So I noticed. Well, what do you want to know, boy?
Anything you can tell me about Sammy North?
He runs a sneak racket of Billy. Got a boat down at Anglesey. He was supposed to bring in a load of snow, but he doubled Italian Henry. Now there's a gang war, and Italian Henry says he had him knocked off.
Anglesey. Now, if he caught a late train, we might just beat him to it by car.
Well, why are you so interested in Sammy North?
Look, you don't know it, Jack, but this guy not only double-crossed Italian Henry, but he's doing the same to Billy Mills, and boy, is that guy going to be sore when he finds out.
Hadn't you better tell Billy?
I told you, that guy just won't listen.
Yeah. Well, good luck, boy. Guppy was a friend of mine, too.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, fellas, come on, let's drive. Now, that must be the boat against the pier. You see anybody?
Not a sign of life.
Well, then we must have beaten them to it.
Well, should we wait on board?
Better not. He can only get to the boat along this pier. If we wait for him here, we can nab him when he tries to go aboard. I expect he'll have a girl with him.
Look, Cannon, coming down the cliff path.
Is that North?
That's him. And Betty Fuller, the waitress.
The murderess. We'll keep down. Keep down because we don't want them to see us.
Let's stay that way, boys.
What the devil?
Stay very quiet. Sammy North goes aboard, all right? He's got a gun, and I can use it too. Now be quiet.
Now, look, you'll be sorry for this, Jack. You don't understand.
I understand very good, boy. Just stay where you are.
You'll better get clear away.
He'll get something, all right.
But why are you helping him?
Helping him, boy?
Well, what a caper. His boat blew up.
Oh, no.
I got a faster car than you, boy. Not only that, Sammy North was a rat. And like I said, Guppy was a very good friend.
Sammy North's acting was only a front to cover his smuggling activities. He knew that Italian Henry was out to kill him, and that all the railway stations were being watched to prevent him making a getaway. So he telephoned at the last minute to say he couldn't get away to the theatre, knowing that Carstairs would use one of the stage hands to fill in. It was Sammy who shot and killed Guppy. He'd have killed anyone who stood in, reasoning that Italian Henry would call off the mob, thinking the man who'd been killed was Sammy himself. This was precisely what happened, and he'd have got away with it had it not been for Cannon's chance meeting with Jack Dott.